minutes
Yeah, I
to
know.
close up.
I am here.
Okay. Right. We're back with our usual schedule of role-playing games. We have Blackheart as,
Carrick Marsk.
Kronos as,
Ology Thal.
Hatden as,
Tholdir Forgehammer.
Marcus as,
Corvus Avilas.
Sammy as,
Gifton Brogrun.
and Tobias as.
Caspiopea the Thunderhoof Steel Shot.
Well, a bit smoother than usual. Well done, Toby. And you got me, Ali, as your friendly DM. Who would like to give me a recap?
Let me check to see if I need my inspiration or not. I might. I don't know. I need an inspiration. Okay, I do. Alright, so last week we did a little bit more pickup of doing downtime. We are currently in downtime right now. During downtime, I proposed to care, which I think may have been covered in a previous downtime. We had people mostly going around doing their various little in-between stuff. One of which was me, RG, and Carrick went to the it's the I don't know what the proper word for the fortress is.
Garrison.
The garrison. I don't know if is it a garrison or a keep, because I thought it was.
It's a keep, technically.
Right, we went to the keep, and I had basically been bothering that I wanted to go see my buddy, because my buddy's pretty cool, and we were informed that that the trial was going to be starting soon, and unfortunately not all of us could come to it. But I wanted to see Rick Beale really bad, and RG, upon realizing we were going to see Rick Beale, was like, oh hell no. We were told that the Shire Reeve wanted to see Corvus. We were also looking into information for Carrick's grandmother, which Carrick had been in contact with his grandmother about the fact that adventurers had been trying to use a map to get to her place. And also, by the way, we know Capet owns a mine right there where the giant frog is. It's so cool. It's right there where Grandma is. And wasn't sure how she would deal with that and what concerns might that be. And he was trying to ascertain what to do, so he went to go see if the scribe could give us information, or the Shire could give us information about the adventurers that we had found dead. Unfortunately, they did not get their missions from that area, which we learned later. We went down below to go see Rick Beale. RG took off with Dingus because neither of them wanted to be there for Screechy Times, because Screechy Times have been pretty horrible. So they left. We went over, told Maris what we were doing, said, hey Maris, I told him I'd heal him up if anything bad happened, and he was just like, oh, this is going to be terrible, I hate it. And I started talking to Rick Beale. Rick Beale initially didn't say anything. Then Carrick piped up in Celestial. Rick Beale suddenly was interested and came over talking, causing screechy noises to hurt Carrick and
No, I made my save.
Maris's ears, but it did not cause any undue pain. So it was painful to listen to, but it wasn't painful enough that it made them bleed.
Yeah, it still hurts, just not damaging.
It still hurts. It just wasn't damaging. The guards and stuff had cleared out of the area while that happened. We ended up having a long conversation where I was briefly the mediator between Carrick and Rick Beale, and then Rick Beale posed the question of, may I enter you? And then bow chicka bow pa-chunk pa-chunk bow. Angel possessed Carrick with consent. Which, by the way, Carrick is, I know he looks young, age of consent. It's okay. So Carrick let the angel in. Awkward conversation started. Gifton really wasn't sure who was talking some of the time, because Carrick started talking to himself. Meanwhile, me and Maris were just kind of looking at each other going, I don't know if this is okay. And eventually it seemed like the angel left, because Carrick was kind of like, not at this time, thank you, goodbye. And then we went outside. Carrick wanted to call his grandma and tell her about the fact that we didn't know anything about the adventurers and that we were talking about going to somewhere else. He put on his scarf. We ducked into an alleyway. He started talking to Grandma. We started talking a little bit about the fact that Rick Beale had just been in him, and she's like, "Are you sure Rick Beale's gone?" I had checked with Divine Sense and I didn't see him anywhere. And then she was like, "Hey, take off your ring." And then I did Divine Sense and he was still there. And then that took a longer thing. Carrick managed to talk Rick Beale out of his body, which caused Carrick to faint, which caused Gifton to have to scream bloody murder. "Oh my god, my best friend is hurt. Oh no, help, 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 help." By the way, guys, it's not RG, it's Carrick this time. I know I said best friend, I misspoke. Don't tell RG. And then guards came, they helped me rouse Carrick back up, and we started making arrangements to go see Capet. While that was happening, Corvus got the message from RG that he needed to go see the Shire Reeve. Corvus went in to go see the Shire Reeve. It started off pretty nice and flowery, and by nice and flowery, I mean the Shire Reeve gave him a nice official document recognizing him as a performing doctor with training and stuff like that could be working in various cities and do stuff, which was great. And then the Shire Reeve pulled out a letter from Southwest Time from apparently a very angry shopkeep down there about some extra materials that were taken that shouldn't have been taken. That was resolved very quickly with Corvus giving over 10 gold pieces because he was it, and the conversation continued on. The Shire Reeve suddenly took a dark and foreboding evil anime turn as it let Corvus know he knew about the theft in his own thing, and he was very angry, and if that ever happened again, so help him, and that he's just lucky that he didn't bring Thaldir in there to hear about this, and that, he needs to think about the people around him, and I forget what else it was, but it was very angry dad conversation with Corvus, and then Corvus was sent out. Corvus meets back up with Carrick, RG, Cassiopeia, and Gifton. Meanwhile, by the way, Cassiopeia had been the flower of the town, going around to various places, spending her money at different shops she bought. A stained glass window for the cart, pull windows for put in the cart. She was going around various shops spending money to help out the economy because she was being really interested in trying to help everybody out. And then she decided to go to a clockwork shop where they make clocks and all sorts of manner of cool things that my character doesn't know about and would have a squee fit over. And I'm tragically sad that I'll never get to go there.
And was shocked at the prices.
And was horribly shocked at the prices of, I believe it was 700 gold pieces for the clock for the wall, and it was several thousand for the pocket watch. And Cassiopeia ended up very, very cautiously edging back out, trying to write down the prices, but the clockwork lady was very worried about this whole writing things down because she's apparently been robbed many times, and she thought she was being cased out. And so that was the gnome lady, which I don't believe we actually got her name because she ousted Cass out a little too quickly. So never got that name. And and there was also the smith that Cassiopeia went back to and made sure that we didn't get a iron stove. We got a steel stove because Cassiopeia is an all-star. Group got back together, everybody except for Thaldir. We went to House Capet. We talked to House. We were surprised because when we asked for the Lord of House Capet, we didn't realize the older brother was there, or maybe somebody didn't realize, aka the brownie. And then we had to amend that to we wanted to see Callan Capet. We went and saw Callan and brought up various concerns, asking vaguely if we could trade plots if we needed to, and then kind of coming out in the open a little bit that we know Carrick has a great grandma who's a dragon, and she happens to live in that area, and we want to kind of keep her safe. And Callan, being a kind and gentle lord who is looking out for us and likes us because of the nice things we've done for his family and everything, has said that he is going to look into trying to make a mutually beneficial arrangement for the parties involved because he wants to not have an angry dragon on his doorstep. I would assume. And he also doesn't want an angry adventuring party. But well, he's not sure if we need to trade building slots with us yet. And I believe that's where we left off with all of us heading back.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yep, and that's
Okay.
recap.
Right. So, Cannon is going to spend some time looking into that.
Inspiration.
You do get your inspiration. Yeah. And basically, the usual happens. Days pass. Gifted things are. You manage to fit in making outfits in a few days. When you get free time, when you're able to get into the shop. Sometimes you might have to take material off to the King's Mercy or such, you know.
I figure I just have been buying material and taking it to the King's Mercy at this point, because that is...
Until the fateful day arrives. You spend the night maybe a bit restless, a bit frantic, a bit worried, because your wedding's coming.
I am actually going to go that night to the Amor Temple.
You're going to go to the Amor Temple that night?
Mhm.
Okay. You're able to go to the Amor Temple that night. Father Son is there. You do see there are a couple of people praying. It's not, thankfully, not as packed as it was in the past few weeks. People seem to be settling in with their grief, as sad as that sounds. But he certainly has a few more followers, it seems. And you see Father Stone there, just overseeing prayers, not really counselling, just letting people be. And he smiles when he sees you enter, and he comes over to meet you.
Oh, hi, Father Stone.
Hello, Kirsten. Big day tomorrow.
Yeah, big day. Big day. Well, every day is a big day. She kind of smiles about that. Everything going fine?
Oh, everything's going fine. Yes. Just come here to talk. Is there something you need, or?
I just. Is it okay if I? And she kind of gestures over at the people.
Of course.
Thank you. She's a little shy about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Gifton's gonna go over and quietly, find a spot, kneel. It's even more awkward for everybody else involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of doing it a little bit away from everybody, and she's gonna let out a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And she's.
He Father Stone keeps his distance and just lets you. And this doesn't earn you any scornful looks from anyone else here or such, because it's expected. Eventually, you let out your grief, and you probably, get ready to go. But Father Stone will actually stop you at the door. And, I had planned for this to, a gift after the wedding, but
Tomorrow's a happier day.
tomorrow's a happier day, and perhaps this is more fitting now. And he's just going to pull out a very simple little wrapping, just a little bag, very small, in fact. And he holds it down to you, and it's big enough for you, small enough for you to actually handle pretty easily.
All right, I'll take it.
For,
You didn't need to.
I wanted to, for you and Care.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome, and I look forward to tomorrow.
I do too. and thank you for the peace you bring.
Thank you for everything you've done. You're always welcome here. You don't have to ask permission.
I nod to him and I kind of glance over at the altar and I go, it feels more respectful to ask.
He just nods his head. Good night to you, Lady Brooklyn.
Good night to you, Father Stone. And I'll take the bag and I don't know, I guess I'll peek in it as I go.
Inside of it are two very, very tiny pieces of jewelry. Very basic, just made of copper or such.
Thankfully not
and
iron.
It's not iron. he was that thoughtful at least.
Yeah.
And it is two small little symbols of Imor.
Oh, Gifton's gonna hold those very tightly and get a little choked up and head back. Go have her fitful night of sleep, but she needed to go get some grief out about her grandma and her father, mostly her father, because she's been holding that one back.
Yeah. Oh, what's to come? I'm sorry. So, you've been planning your wedding, you've been trying to plan your wedding with some meddling
I haven't got to plan shit.
taking charge.
I haven't planned nothing. I don't know what's coming.
Decide on is what roles your group members are going to play. Are any of them going to be, is Carrot going to be a bridesmaid, or who exactly do you want in what roles?
Well, I will be honest. I would offer any of them to be in my wedding party.
So are you approaching us and
Yeah,
asking
I'm
us
basically
to
gonna
do
sit you guys
stuff?
down and go. So, all right. So in brownie culture, I'm just gonna like give you guys a brief rundown. What we do is, you remember that tree outside of town, about a mile out, the one that in the spring makes the pretty pink blooms, the really big old scraggly one. Looks like it has a moose head on one side.
Ah, moose tree, found it.
Yeah, moose tree.
Everybody else knows it's the hanging tree, and it's
Yeah,
awkward
that's
moment.
the hanging tree gift.
The one where the sap drips down really pretty and makes like icicles.
Nobody tell her.
Yeah.
Anyway, every spring we go there, and it is our union day, and we marry as many of the couples that are marrying for the year at once. And usually we gather a lot of vines and flowers and ropes, and we make a big unity circle, and it's a big, beautiful thing. But that's all we do. So I've never gotten to go to a mortal wedding, so help, please. Carrick, can you be a bridesmaid? RG, can you be my best man?
Wait, you just that's mad.
Yes.
Listen, she doesn't know how this works.
I don't know how this works, guys.
Typically, bridesmaids tend to be more women, and groomsmen tend to be more the men, and they represent friends and family of the bride and the groom.
But you're all my family.
Yeah, I was going to say, in this situation, we're kind of just an old mixed bag, aren't we?
Sad part is,
would you be comfortable being in my bridesmaids?
RG, she said something. I'll be honest, I remember there's a bunch of who got. We had a lot of bridesmaids who were dudes and a lot of groomsmen who were female, but that was just kind of a thing. His parents had just got to make it work.
Well, could you be my party and Belger? Will you give me away? Is that what they do? Or is there a trading process? How does that work?
Baldir, will you pay my dowry?
No, she's female. Somebody else owes me money.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want, I'd be honored.
Okay, and Dingus, you're going to be in charge of the rings.
Dingus bobs his head rapidly.
Mm-hmm. We can use this little bag.
And you still want the little Madame Capet as your flower girl, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll just
Dingus is gonna be covered in flowers by the end of this.
I know.
Right. A complicated adventure gets thrown into the matters, namely for you, Carrick, as sometime in the leading up to this, Care will actually get his way to you. He will actually come to the King's Mercy with assistance from Latinor, and he does not look happy about setting out like that. But he approaches you in the King's Mercy. He's going to, Carrick?
Yes, Care?
Look, I know we don't know each other too well, but he scratches the back of his head. There's not exactly a lot of people from Tarnstead here. And Gifton likes you, and Gifton trusts you. And, would you be my best man?
be both. Hey, wait, I have a silent illusion spell. I can do.
Top half suit, bottom half dress. Go.
Tradition kind of calls for it, you know.
Has Gifton been around this day as a curiosity yet?
Gusta's probably been busy.
Okay, so
I
she hasn't.
have been doing leatherworking training on the daytime,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I was just seeing if. I think we can arrange that.
Thank you. That's ready. Okay. Really didn't want to have to ask anyone else. Okay, let's go back. That's all. Yeah. And he's looking around the inn like, don't like this. And Lesnar's going to give you a small smile and a wave, and then take care back to the tailor shop.
Do we still have our? I can't remember. Did he recollect the?
No, the radios were left for you.
unfortunately, they go through Thaldir.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was going to be passing a message along, because I don't know if I know where the leather worker is.
It's at Capet,
Oh,
because I'm going through Capet's leather worker.
oh, I'm pretty sure I would have known that then. I'm gonna go find me a small leather worker, or soon-to-be leather worker. I'm gonna go find Gifton and see how, and explain what just happened, and offer an illusionary spell to make it so I can be both.
Okay. Yeah. If you're heading actually over to the cafe, you are let in, and one of the guardsmen will. You could see one of my lords.
Actually, I was hoping to see Gifton.
Oh, of course. Right this way. And he'll take you over to the little. There's a tiny little sort of not quite a hut. It's actually open fronted and such.
There's the high pitched
Doesn't-
yelling
doesn't-
of, why won't you bend?
Thankfully, most of the levers here are already prepared, so there isn't a horrendous smell.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
But you do see a older gentleman overlooking Gifton as she is trying to basically get a bit of leather to obey her will.
Yeah. I'm not good at this. Actually, I don't know how far in the training. I might be better at this than I was.
Yeah, you're getting pretty good at this. It's being a bit stubborn, but
Yeah.
You're huge allergic. No, you don't have mage hand, do you?
No. I don't have this cheat spell.
Crap. Gifton.
Oh, hi, Carrick.
Leather snaps back into position.
Do you have a couple of moments?
Can you talk to me? I got my hands kind of.
Yes, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
I don't want to let it go.
That's fine.
I'm pulling it really tight.
you are soaked a little bit, Gifton, as the leather worker actually wets the leather for you to try and make it a bit more pliable.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. So what was it?
Care stopped by to talk to me today.
Oh, all good things. I hope. Is there a problem?
He asked me to be his best man because you trust me and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
But that means I can't also technically be also on your side at the same time, unless like I use magic.
I kind of glance about, like, why are you saying this out loud?
At this point, I'm good. So.
Well, I don't want to, like, waste a bunch of magic on that. Why don't you just,
Okay.
you just be on his side. That'd be fine. I was actually worried that, because it seems like I have a whole bunch of people.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure you were.
Does he
good
need
with
Corvus
your
too?
He didn't ask for Corvus.
Okay.
So he just asked for me. So I don't know.
Alright.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, we can shove Corvus over there if we need to.
I'm just saying, I didn't know if it would be more appropriate, because you seemed like it was like a weird thing that there were guys for bridesmaids. Okay, I think that's
I
that.
mean-
That's very, very finely done, ma'am.
How much bigger than her is what she's working on?
It's an actual person's thing. It's
yeah. Yeah, but that should be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll be okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to make sure you wouldn't be upset. So. Okay, he goes back.
Am I supposed to be upset? I'm talking to the leather worker.
Did she get her
Ma'am.
climb? Is she using her climbing kit to do this?
Oh, she's up on top of a.
I'm on top of a table, probably, or something. Just
Okay.
like
I was just
table.
imagining making leather armor and the climbing kit to get up to like attach the pieces.
Well, it's not on a person right now. It's just.
No, it's currently folded over basically a block of wood that is shaped vaguely like a torso, just to get it into shape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, the big day arrives.
Ding, dong.
Gifton, this tiny little tailor shop is divided. There is a area you're not allowed into. Elastinor's room has been repurposed to get care ready. And there is basically a curtain pulled across most of the downstairs area where you're getting ready in the little back room. You're woken up very early by your mother, who looks like she hasn't slept.
Mom, are you okay?
Absolutely fine. Yep. All together, all ready. Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Right. Let's get. Okay. First, we get you washed. Norman got some lovely perfumes, and you are basically dragged out of bed.
Ah!
And
I
hurried down to
basically
get
went
ready.
from, like, you know how in Frozen when Anna wakes up,
Mhm.
that whole so
And it's a long process of getting ready.
Yeah.
The dress that has been prepared for you is takes a while to get into.
oh no, it's one of those.
It's one of those.
Mhm.
Many layers, lots of cinching,
God.
and then your mother spends quite a long time doing your hair up. And it's a simple braid, but she's making sure everything is in place. A bit through it, you can actually hear Elastanor yelling, "Okay, coming through! Don't come out from behind there!" And you can hear Claire going, "Really, I don't think us seeing each other is a big deal. We didn't have that custom, and no, we are doing this properly." And then that sound departs outside as Care heads off to the church before you.
They have some really silly superstitions.
Yes, he insisted though. Apparently, it's the thing
I
here.
heard they don't even toss the cranberry over the head.
There's no cranberry.
I know there's no cranberry.
Don't worry, we have some in your little bouquet though.
Okay.
Apparently, they have this big thing of somebody else catching it, or I don't know.
Oh yeah. Hessener told me about that. I got a really cool idea with that.
Marvelous. Okay.
Yeah.
RG should be here any moment now.
Mhm.
And
Oh
RG.
man. And Gibson frowns a little bit and goes, "Mom, have you ever seen how RG does her hair?" It took me in care like 3 hours one day.
RG, you are woken up. Well, pulled out of your trancing by a knocking on your door in the King's Mercy.
Susan goes, what's up?
Lady Fowl, we're here to help you get ready for the day.
Okay.
And the door opens up.
Just kind of bewildered look.
And give me a straight int roll.
You want me to fail when I see it?
Yes, totes. No, that's good enough. You recognise these as a couple of the servants you've seen in Capet's household. Young ladies, and they just seem to be carrying what looks to be a covered outfit. Currently, just in a nice wrapping to keep it from getting dirty. You probably imagine that's actually from Elastinor's, but they have it.
Mm-hmm.
And they are carrying a little wash basin, and a whole lot of makeup and hairbrushes and such. And you're basically going to be tortured for an hour.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I figured either that or Marissa's going to roll out of bed and do it forcibly. One of the two.
And you are gotten ready. Is Marissa sharing a room at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I imagine Marissa is invited to the wedding.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes,
Marissa
I
will
might
actually,
even be in the wedding party at this point.
yeah. Marissa will also be
Like,
attended to as well.
address.
Marissa will also be attended to. May not have been in the planning, but she's there and
Mhm.
you're clearly involved.
She's there, convenience.
At least she isn't getting rough handled as much as you are.
I'm pretty sure that's because part of it is RG keeps trying to escape. Like, well,
Carrick,
we're done. Okay, I'm leaving. Bye.
Carrick, you also had a couple of attendees come to you early in the morning. You can, in fact, probably hear the sound from the rooms you're all staying in, various people. And the inn does seem to be a little full of noble servants. Faldir, Corvus, Carrick, you're all attended to by male helpers. Cassiopeia, you are woken up and brought over to Argy's room. And are also prettied up for the day. And you probably love this. You love being a pretty thing. Don't know if Cass is actually here.
I think it's the
the time of the cart or the time of the gate.
time of the cart.
I just walked back in.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
You're being pretty.
Basically, a bunch of noble house servants have accosted you and are dressing you up pretty and making you smell of pretty perfumes.
There's that split second where Cass is just blurry-eyed walking in. Then all of a sudden, there's just like arms and armament of clothing variety, and Cass kind of steps back real quick, just like, ah!
Lady Stillshot, please, we're here to prepare you for Lady Brockend's wedding.
Right. And Cass just kind of steps in. She steps properly, and then she just holds out her arms, just like, this is going to be like getting armored.
Faldir, while Carrick and Corvus are sort of taken off and just attended to by some younger gentlemen, Callan Capet is actually there, and he actually motions you to come aside with him.
So no one is attempting to dress me. In that case, I will not have the outburst I was pre-planning, so I will just go with him.
And you follow Callan, and he actually leads you downstairs into and out through the kitchens and into what seems to be Elias's own personal quarters, where you can see Elias getting ready, and a much older gentleman, much older than Callan even, still in this sort of butler-style attire, is waiting. And Callan says, Sir Porchemma, we have prepared a nice suit for you, if you'd so please.
Yes, that would be a good idea to look better than normal. I appreciate it. Thank you.
The butler comes over with just clothing draped over his arm and goes, do you need assistance, sir?
I've been dressing myself since before you were in diapers. I think I can handle it.
And he nods his head and sets the stuff down on the bed in here for you. And then just takes a few steps back to the wall. If you need any assistance, please let me know.
And here's hoping he doesn't, because damn, that's a really awkward moment right after I come.
Help, I've fallen and I can't get up.
What the hell are these things?
He's gonna be sitting
Those
there
are
with
pants, sir.
he's gonna have his waistcoat on backwards and not know why.
Now, this does come with a lot of things that you've probably not worn in a long time if you ever did it at all. There are some very complicated little buttons, little fiddly bits, bits of cloth that you're not entirely sure where they're supposed to go on an outfit. But in comparison to most things you've seen nobles wear, it's still relatively simple. It's understated.
I will attempt to put on the clothing in the most effective manner possible.
Yeah, the butler watches you get dressed, and you know what? Give me an int roll to see if you can figure out where things go.
Oh, God. At least with wisdom, I might have had it. Oh, I accidentally closed the character sheet.
Actually, you know, I'll let you do wisdom because it's assumptions.
All right. Good. Well then, I was just doomed from the start.
He lets you get finished dressing mostly, but he sort of steps forward and goes, "Sir, if I may."
That wasn't a scarf.
Yes.
And there's zero judgment in his speech or how he treats you. He just simply steps forward and just starts to adjust a little bits that you've got out of place, and gets you sorted out. It's not like he has to redress you or anything. It's just okay. You know, this goes in this pocket. These you don't do up this button at the bottom, and he just sorts all that out. And soon you're dressed. You're quite welcome, sir. And Callahan sort of gestures. If you'd follow me, the groom should be arriving soon.
Good. I've been meaning to see that boy.
And basically, all of you except you, Gifton, are led out the door and to the Church of Tamari, which thankfully is incredibly close to the King's Mercy.
It is actually surprisingly close.
Yeah. As you head down the street, there are a lot of people on the street lining the sides of it. Clearly, a big hubbub and word has spread about this around town. Word of mouth and the fact that the city itself has been trying to make a big deal out of this as a bit of a celebration and a distraction from the tragedies that have come in the past few weeks. A few of the houses are sporting a bit more flowery decorations than usual, and especially the front of the Church of Tamari. There are lovely sort of wreaths lining the door, and it has been prettied up a bit. You can see from down the road, approaching from the sort of terrace direction, is a horse and cart coming. Two horses in lovely white. They got beautiful sort of bridles and feathery plumage attached to them, and it's clearly a done-up carriage. And Callahan just waits for it to arrive with you, Valdia. And he pulls you aside, Carrick, before and Corvus actually.
Yep.
While Cassie and Argy, some of the servants that were attending to you, actually lead you into the church itself.
Okay.
And soon enough, the carriage pulls up, and you can see the door is opened by a servant that gets off the front, and Carrick is helped out.
Care is helped out.
Care is helped out, rather. Oh, Gifton, Dingus was stolen from you.
Was there like panicked meeping?
There's meeping, and you could hear Anathema going, "No, we talked about this. You're coming with us first. Gifton will be there soon."
Meep.
And you see Care and Dingus are basically brought out by Alassanor, and Dingus is not too happy about this. And Dingus he's fitted up quite nicely as well. He seems to actually have a sort of little fabric tunic set over him.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very fancy.
He's very shined up, I'm sure.
And he gives you Care gives you a wave, Carrick, as Alassanor carries him out.
Gonna give him a little wave back.
Yes, this is all very lovely. Hi, Carrick, Corvus, Mr. Forgehammer.
Boy.
Oh.
Like that.
The
Boy.
boy.
and he looked a little worried when you called him boy. Like, he leaned back a bit in Elastinor's hand.
Kratos. Boy.
Yes, hi. So with your traditions, with I'm supposed to wait inside, right?
Yes.
Traditionally speaking, yes.
Okay. And that's not actually sort of extends care to you, Carrick.
I'm going to just hold out my hand so he can
Swap
climb
over.
across.
Yeah. And he hops across, and then your arm probably droops a bit as Dingus also tries to clamber across the arms that are stretched out.
On the plus side, I'm semi used to this because I'm used to him climbing everywhere.
Dingus, if you stay with Faldir, and Dingus sort of goes meep, 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 as he's not entirely happy with what's happening today. It's all very confusing.
I mean,
And Faldir, Dingus then clambers over to you.
We'll see if we can grab a little bit of the food for anyone else.
Dingus bobs his head rapidly.
Yes.
And
found the secret. You found the key there.
And you can see hanging around Dingus's neck, Faldir, is a tiny bit of a very, very sturdy looking twine, which have two tiny little rings just looped over it.
So that's where they are.
Never trust a rogue who says that.
Can't. On the plus side, he can't eat them like that.
Right, if you wait here for Gifton for Gemma, Callan says to you.
Of course.
Right, I'll see you inside. Corvus, if you wish to sit with us.
I will.
And they head in.
Go inside.
So, Carrick, you are basically led over to the front of the church. You can see that the aisle actually has something erected along its length. Seems to be a raised platform with some lovely fabric draped over it to basically allow for the traditional walk down the aisle of the bride, while with people still being able to see her.
No, so it's elevated up.
It's elevated up, yeah, to about
got it.
chest height for most people.
You got yourself a runway, Gifton.
I know. Holy crap.
Just show off all the fancy clothes you make.
Yeah.
And you basically take care to the front of that and stand off to the side as you've basically been told you are supposed to.
Okay.
Gifton.
Yeah.
Soon enough, you are ready. Your mother has, you're dressed properly in place. Your makeup is done up very simply but nicely. Tiny little brushes used.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of puts her hands on the shoulders and sort of leans back a bit. And you can see her smile turning sad.
I just pull her close.
And she hugs you very, very tightly and goes, he would have loved to see you like this.
I know. I pull her back and go, he is seeing me like this. Remember that, right?
And she just, you can see her sort of lips press a bit as she nods. Yes, he's seen this. I suppose we should get going then.
Yeah, I don't know anything about how this is going down, so, how much did they tell you?
They told me that there'd be a little carriage ride, and then you'd be walking to care, and then did you read about the whole foul thing?
I skimmed that chapter.
Well, I'm
sure it's fine.
You and Care will say some things to each other, and well, whatever feels right. Remember, this is your day, no matter what their traditions say.
Okay, I mean, it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah. Well, look, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to.
Oh no,
you know
I want to do this. Today's the day. It has to be today.
And she nods, and she then takes your hand and squeezes it tightly and starts to lead you out.
Okay.
Where there is another carriage awaiting. You can see Lucian is actually there at the head of the carriage, and you can see peeking out from inside of it is the face of Melina.
I wave at Melina and Lucian. I'm so excited to see them.
And she waves frantically at you as Lucian smiles.
Cute in her dress.
Yes, you would not believe how excited she is. And he actually kneels down and lowers his hands for you to get up on.
Yeah, I'm kind of noticing I still don't have my mount, and will do so.
And he basically lifts you up and helps you into the carriage.
Okay.
Where you can see one of the seats has actually got a sort of sub-seating set onto it.
I'm just kind of making the surprise of, this seems like an awful to do.
Oh, that's not a... Well, Callan thought you deserved the whole show of it.
Oh, okay.
He says, not mentioning that this is quite subdued compared to some of the...
Noble weddings.
Yes.
Yeah.
And soon this horse-drawn carriage is on its way. Horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering who was going to freak out about that during this.
I'm basically just holding my mom's hand and giving it a reassuring squeeze, and I'm fixing her hair a little bit, and doing her up a little bit because she didn't
fussing over each other.
Yeah, we're fussing over each other, and and then I'm trying to talk about the dress she made and just go over the little details and gush over it a bit.
It's just best I could do for my sweet little girl.
Yeah, I've been through this.
Yeah.
I'm having Vietnam flashbacks basically right now, out of character because Sam has been through this.
And soon enough, the carriage pulls up. You can hear what sounds like almost orchestral music, something you've probably never actually really heard before.
I've never heard this in my life, and there's actually like a tightening squeeze.
Yes, quite beautiful sounds emanating from within the church. Playing some sort of music that sounds like it was something you'd walk down an aisle to, that kind of jazz.
Yeah, that sort of thing. What normal people would probably associate with that. Yeah.
And Lucian appears again, opens up the door, and says, "Okay, I will take you, ma'am, to your seating." He says to your mother, and then your friend Archie, will be sent out to collect you and start the proceedings.
Okay. Bye.
Remember, Melina, you follow along behind Gifton. And Melina nods excitedly, and you can see she's got this great big basket full of petals and such.
It goes the other way.
No,
I mean it goes the other way. Flower Girl goes ahead.
Oh, yes, that's the one.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since Annie's been to a wedding.
No, it's like the Flower Girl throws the petals and then the bride walks on them on the way, which is going to be hilarious, by the way.
I'm going to need you to do a dodge as she throws these up into the air.
Yeah. as children do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he takes your mother into the church. And RG, you are told that the bride has arrived.
And there's this awkward moment of just hanging outside the church by myself, just like in this dress.
Yeah, with a little girl who is quivering in excitement.
Yeah.
Audrey does have that moment where they just go, "Okay, the bride's arrived." She goes, "Okay." Doesn't do anything for a second. Goes, "Oh right, shit."
Yes, my fault.
I like to think
like not a long moment, but just that like couple second beat of
just that idle dismissive nod. Yeah, that's fine.
I'd like to think that that Marissa actually elbows you before you get it.
Cassie, you are shown to seating along with Gitten's mother. Air quote seating. You are sat down beside the aisle of seating.
Yep.
But basically in the family section for the bride.
All right. I have the family section for the bride's actually really full. It's unfortunate for Care.
Yeah. You do see that Kalan has put most of his people on Care's side.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Aw,
Yeah.
he fills it out. That's good.
Yeah.
You gotta be nice.
There's probably a couple guards from Dulv Keep there. Or
there are anyone that looks around. You do actually see quite a few familiar faces. Not familiar in the sense that you know them well, but you have seen them frequently. There are guards that are off duty. You do see Maris, and you don't see the Shire Reeve, but Maris is there. There is near Kalan. There is a gentleman that looks a little similar to Kalan, but about 10 years older, wearing very, very, very straight and sensible noble clothing, greys and blues.
To the point.
Finally have seen the older brother.
Yeah. And Archie, you open the door to the carriage, and there's Gifton in her beautiful little dress.
it's really awkward out here. Everybody on the street keeps staring at me and the kid.
As you're getting married.
Okay, I'll remember this when you do this.
I'm just kind of looking. Goes, you're making a lot of assumptions there.
And
I'm telling Marissa.
and
And then it said, "Pause! Just don't you dare."
and Melina hops out of the carriage, and you can see her sort of waiting, sort of bobbing on her toes, up and down.
I think you're supposed to go ahead of us, aren't you, Melina?
Yeah, but not too far, right? Right?
Yeah, not too far. I don't run that fast.
And she nods, and Daddy told me, yep, I'm supposed to stay like that far ahead of you, and you see her sort of spread her arms out.
Yeah. Okay.
The kid measuring thing.
And
yeah, I'm not sure what this exact distance is, but
yep.
You are able to help Gifton out, and take her into the church. There's clearly somebody keeping an eye out, because the moment you sort of get into the doors, the music changes and starts to.
Gifton actually noticeably looks tense at the music, because this is weird, right?
Yeah. And Argy, you were given a brief coaching on how to approach at a steady pace the platform that you would then place her down on to take up that sort of initial walk.
On the bright side, basic one thing she's actually decent at.
Yeah.
And the wedding proceeds. You walk through the church, and you can see all of these, well, familiar and some not so familiar faces. You can see this beautiful walkway that's been constructed and erected in here.
Wow.
Fine fabrics. The entire interior of the church has been done up with a little bit more of a flowery theme than it probably normally has.
Yeah.
And RG takes you over to the platform as Melina starts to enthusiastically, but she is aiming for the platform.
I'm going to very, very slyly, if I can, because I probably can do this with Druidcraft. Or possibly with thaumaturgy. I just want to make a slightly gentle wind that kind of blows them.
Yeah,
that way they're not.
You can pull that off. You can sort of direct them a bit.
Yeah, I'm just gonna casually do that while I'm walking forward, because that way it's not quite that hazardous.
In the distance, you can see Care in a lovely little suit, looking terrified as all sin.
That's
he's
normal.
clearly full of nerves.
Aww.
Yeah. You see
Valdir pretty much
and
looking daggers into the back of Kara's head.
Valdir, you actually joined Gifton as she sit down by RG, and essentially walk beside her along the aisle.
The only person in the party you're faster than. You get to walk beside.
Yeah. And this is
regal. It still looks like kind of an angry ornery waddle.
A little strange, because this platform is raised up for Gifton to be about on chest level with most people, which means she's basically on head level with you.
Yeah.
Which means you can look at it eye to eye if you want.
Yeah.
It's very good for you.
Yeah.
You look quite lovely.
You look amazing. Where'd you get the suit?
You've got some very kind friends.
Of course I do. You're one of them.
There were other friends.
Oh.
Hi.
And
Carrick?
Faldir-
Yeah.
and Faldir walks you down the aisle.
Okay.
As you get to the end and step up beside Care, the music dies down.
I'm like immediately taking his hand and giving it a squeeze.
Yeah.
And as I'm
And-
doing so, I'm slipping something into his hand, which is the Amor thing, because I'm going to have slipped that under my dress as a piece of jewelry that I have hidden somewhere on this outfit.
And he squeezes your hand and looks momentarily confused as to what you slipped into his hand, but
Yeah.
and you can see now that you're here, he straightens up a little bit. He's and takes a deep breath. And the priestess of Tamari, who is here presiding over you, she looks down at you both with a smile and asks, "Are you ready?"
I nod.
Okay. And she starts off in the traditional, "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the joyous union of Gifton Brockgren and Care Greysteel." It's Greysteel, right?
Greysteel.
Yes. And Care Greysteel. And she says a little Tamarian prayer, which
Yeah.
Ali
You don't
doesn't
need
know
to
what
do
that
it,
would be.
yeah.
Would the both of you please pledge your vows to each other and open up your hearts? If you'd like to speak first, Care. And Care gulps.
Aw.
And he looks out at all of the people gathered there. And Faldir's little makes him stiffen briefly.
Yep.
But he locks his eyes on you, Gifton, and you can see him just focusing on you as he holds your hands tightly. He goes, Gifton, for as long as I've known you, you have been the brightest spark in my life. Your smile and laughter instantly brightening up my day whenever they were graced upon my ears and my eyes. And and you see that sort of apprehension welling up in his chest.
Aw. And that's why I decided not to go through the wedding.
Yeah. And it would be the greatest gift that could ever be given to me to spend the rest of my life with you. No matter what that brings or where we are, as long as we are together, I know we will have happiness. And then he falls silent, and there's that awkward moment where he's sort of glancing around, going, "Was that okay?"
Going to nod
Not
slightly.
at him. Not at him. Steve's cans won't work at him.
Slight smile.
And you can see that look on that look of ever so slight amusement on the Tamarian priestess's face of, cute short thing from a nervous groom. And she then looks down at you, Gifton.
Yep. And I will give Kara's hands, because I'm probably holding both of them at this point, because we usually have a face towards it. I'll give them a firm squeeze as I look in his eyes, and I'll be Care, son of Bakar, Grayscale. All of my life, all I have dreamed of is to be by your side. And I am so grateful that I will be spending the rest of my life with you through any hardships and joys that the world may throw at us. And that we will make time each day to remember our love and to remember us. Because no matter how big and how scary everything else gets, we're still together forever. And she's just gonna.
You can see his eyes tearing up a bit. Right, the rings, please. And she and you see Dingus. Yeah, you hear Dingus go meep 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 meep, and he basically hops up onto the little platform you're on,
Which is like a
and and he sort of puffs his chest out and leans his head back, basically to present these rings that are hanging from his neck. And you can see that this string has a tiny little bit right where the rings are, where it could just easily be pulled off.
I'll just give it a yank and pull the rings off.
And Kea will take one of the rings, and he'll take your hand.
Yeah.
Now, do the both of you pledge your undying loyalty, and more importantly, your undying love to each other? And Kea slips his ring onto your finger and goes, I do.
And Gifton will take her ring and get it ready.
Yeah. And you can see a little twinkle in the Tamarian Princess's eye, and she says, Gifton, do you pledge your undying loyalty and love and protection to Care for as long as you may live?
I do, and I'm going to put the ring on him.
And you can hear that sort of moment of silence in the church as she seems to be letting it hang, putting on a bit of a show. And then she says, well, then it's my pleasure to pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. And
I don't understand how this works, so I'm going to kiss Care.
Lovely. I was hoping so. Yeah. And,
he's the bride, right? That's how this works.
Yeah. You can see Care's eyes go wide slightly before he embraces you and returns the kiss.
Yeah.
And
Mr. Brockgren.
There's applause in the church.
Yeah.
And you can hear Melina squealing.
And now they kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can see Dingus sort of bounding along the walkway as if to get to his position, only just remembering. And then you can see him waiting at the end of the walkway. And basically, Callan, Lassanor actually would be the one, comes over and fixes Dingus's little saddle.
Yeah.
As the music picks up again, and you are allowed to walk to Dingus.
All right, I will walk and we'll wave at everybody as we go. And
you'd already been informed that the reception was going to be at the King's Mercy. It's basically going to be opening its doors up and just food and food.
I'm assuming they're being paid handsomely for this.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And as you help Care up onto Dingus.
Yeah, because he's riding behind me.
Yeah.
I'm driving.
Dingus does a little sort of flourish with his wings as if to show you both off before taking off and basically flying through the entrance of the church.
Yep.
As he does so, you come out onto the street and you can see either side of the church's doors a line of guards, 3 deep, 10 wide, standing with sword and shield in salute as you exit. And you can see that the Shire Reeve is heading up this little procession. And it's a little hard to hear over the din of the crowd, but you do sort of make out he's saying something along the lines of, attention to the bride and groom, and the guards pop off a smart little stomp and snap of the shields to the chests. Which spooks Dingus a little. He wasn't quite prepared for this.
Dingus, it spooks Gifton, and it spooks Care. There is suddenly that, you know how like when a bird suddenly decides not to fly in a direction, there's a whoa!
There's that sort of awkward flapping. Dingus freaks for a second before he does a dive towards the King's Mercy. The rest of you have to leave by more natural means of feet.
Yeah. Walking, because apparently the carriages are done now.
Yes. Yes, Dingus's little fly was the ending there.
Yeah.
We didn't throw rice. Oh.
Corvus is disappointed.
Corvus bought 10 pounds of rice.
And you are all able to make your way to the King's Mercy, where basically the little after reception celebration is being held.
And at this point, I will, since me and Kara got a time, I'll make sure to put the holy symbol on him, or the little necklace thing, and I'll explain that it was from Father Stone, because he, was help protecting us, and I'll show him mine, and I'll wear mine plainly out in the open now. Yeah. I didn't want to wear it out in the open in the Tamari Temple.
Yeah. He sort of nods and smiles. Maybe even if he doesn't quite understand the significance of the immortal symbol, it's nice that you're both wearing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Dingus takes you into the inside where you can see this lovely spread. There is a lot of food in here, and you can see.
Oh my gosh, Dingus! Look at all those Scotch eggs.
And you are almost thrown from Dingus's saddle.
And sudden
he basically just sort of rolls his back to deposit the both of you, and just bounds over to the table.
Yep.
Eventually, everyone else filters in behind you.
There are no Scotch eggs for anyone else. There is an angry little creature perched on top of the platter, hissing and biting.
There are people in here serving, and there is a small set of musicians which play actually music that's a bit more familiar from Tarnstead. It is very much folk music. It's a little pub band.
Yeah, I'll sing along a little bit sometimes. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, and you see all of your companions coming in after, and you're all able to do as you please.
I will take my bow out and shoot the bouquet.
Oh.
I'll wait till enough time has passed that people are there. But I will shoot the bouquet into the crowd.
All right. So, does anyone actually want to try and catch this bouquet that's being shot?
Do you shoot a sleep arrow?
I am shooting a regular arrow, but I'm using my druid crafty stuff with permission from the DM to make it into a bouquet in midair. As a one-time thing.
So, RG, Cass, you trying to go for this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Considering your abilities in comparison to most of the other people here, they're not going to have a chance. However, you are going to have to go head-to-head for this.
Have fun.
Yeah. Now, how are you both trying to go
friendly brawl breaks out and rolls out.
Can I roll acrobatics to vault off Cass?
Yeah, you can try that. Cass, if you want, I will allow a contested athletics check to try and basically shoulder her off and go for it yourself.
Yeah.
All right, acrobatics from you, RG. Athletics from you, Cass.
Oh, can I roll?
I'm using my inspiration.
What do you want?
Can.
I am betrayed!
Push.
Christ.
I would like to push Corvus into the way.
What?
Yeah, sure. Give me a just give me a strength check, Faldia.
Carriage just watching.
Okay, they're not fucked.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes then. But...
Oh, so close. Oh no, Cassiopeia probably ran over Corvus.
Yeah, so what happens is, Corvus, you are suddenly right into this crowd. There's a few women in this crowd, actually. Yeah, this is not just Cass and Ardy trying to do it. You are suddenly pushed in the midst of them. And Ardy, as you're trying to pull Fault off of Cass, you can see her sort of rearing up, her back legs bracing as she tries to get a bit of a jump up. Something impacts you, and your balance just suddenly goes to shit. And you are falling off of Cass's back as she jumps up. Corvus, you land beneath the towering hooves of a centaur and have that terrifying moment of scrabbling out from beneath her. As Cass, you catch this bouquet.
The extra acrobatics to this one, I'm assigning just not landing and dirtying the dress.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, you can save yourself.
I'm gonna have a good laugh at this, and then I'm gonna wave RG over.
Do I have to dodge hoof?
No, you can get out.
You just got briefly shoved into a whole bunch of other young girls, excited young girls.
But there is that absolute terrifying moment of those hooves just being right over.
I'm gonna like work the garter off that I have, and then wave RG over.
It's like a micro rubber band.
Shush! RG, come here. Hey, RG, can you get your garter off?
Charlie's gonna go, I have one of those?
Yeah, you do.
Reach under, like, oh, there is.
Yeah, okay, alright, so I'm gonna...
You see one of the surfing girls look at you from across the room as if, of course you do.
I want to think that you just slap your leg up there and just, like, peel it off in front of all the guys, just like, wow!
I'm not picturing it. I'm picturing she literally just has her hand, like, underneath the rim of the dress and, like,
oh, I do
like
have one of
standing
those.
position, landed loop, and grabbed onto
I am taking, because I'm assuming my bags are here on Dingus. I'm grabbing a needle and thread, and I'm attaching my garter to Archie's garter. And I go, Kara, would you like to assign a champion to throw the garter?
Kara sort of glances at Carrick.
And I kind of point at either Carrick or RG, probably, choices.
Oh, come on. I can do, like, D something damage by throwing an item.
You can return it, that would be the
kill
best
somebody.
All it throws it as it's about to go to someone's heads. Come back. Gotcha.
I don't think it's appropriate for Carrick. So, the RG, I mean, well, I suppose it's, guys.
Well, it's supposed to be.
I know.
You would throw it, so you
I know.
Carrick.
Yeah,
I mean, it's mostly RG's anyway, as far as they're concerned.
That's true. Carrick.
Sure, I will.
Okay.
RG
I'll let you do finesse for this. It's not exactly.
RG tosses it to Carrick and just goes, "You don't get to keep that."
No, I sewed my thing onto it, so
I know. She's just cutting a joke at the fact that came from her too.
I'm not considered proficient with this, correct?
You're not considered proficient. No.
Okay. 13.
Not bad.
That's fine. So you actually get some good air on this, and you can see a lot of the younger gentlemen partaking in this. Yeah. And you see one of them. Does Corvus or Carrick want to? Do Carrick, do you want to throw it and then run and try and catch it?
No.
I like to think Carrick shot it right at Corvus.
Push Corvus into it again.
Corvus is pulling himself off the floor.
Shoot it at Faldir. Shoot it at Faldir.
Pulls down his vest and grumbles off.
I'm going to try to get that at Corvus too.
Okay. Alright.
Corvus is like brushing himself off after the last altercation.
I don't know if that means I've got to like somehow toss him at it.
You can give me another strength check. Corvus, you can be prepared this time if you so wish, and try to avoid it.
It's the opposite. Instead of dwarf tossing,
you can hear, okay, time for the garter, and you might have the anime ting in the back of danger.
One slow turn to see Thaldir lumbering forward.
Yep. You can give me a dex save if you want to try and get away from this.
Thaldir!
Oh no!
So you lumber forward towards Corvus, and he panics and quickly moves out of the way.
And there's probably a bunch of people who laugh at this because they.
But now that you are looking towards the crowd, you can see Karan pushing Lucian.
And Lucian gets it.
And Lucian catches his guard.
Well, this is interesting. I didn't know Lucian and Cassie were going to hook up, but okay.
And he looks briefly panicked.
I'm just clapping, and I lean over to Kara, and I'm just like, I don't understand this custom, but it's funny because they push each other around.
And all of you, give me a perception check, please.
All of us?
Good. Wow.
Wow. This is really
We haven't started drinking yet.
Cass.
Cassie's distracted
for
by
yourself.
having thought that.
Oh.
Okay.
Nope, I'm too busy with whatever right there.
Everybody except Cassie and Carrick. You can see the older Capay here. He's keeping off to the side, just holding a glass of wine. But as Lucian catches this, you can see him raise that glass to his lips to hide a slight upturning of his lips.
Oh.
And I'm gonna be like, woo, Lucian!
I'll head over there and clap him very heavily on the back.
I didn't mean to. This isn't what I want. I'm not.
No.
Yeah, the birds and the bees talk, young man.
So, who's the lucky lady?
So what are you proposing to our fine centaur?
I need to see. I need to see Master Mask. Excuse me. And you see him tuck this garter away in his. He's still wearing robes, but they're sort of very nicely dressed robes.
The person who threw it to him. He's
and-
talking you now.
And
It's
he
great.
stuffs that away without sort of realizing what that looks like as well. And
Archie's
then
gonna give a wolf whistle when he does that.
Oh no! Oh, and he hurries across the room towards Carrick. And you can hear some laughter from a few of the other young nobles here because you can see some terrace colours.
Yeah.
This is a big hoodoo.
It's a big hoodoo. Everybody's invited.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, except for Landor.
The peasantry are invited, but basically outside on the streets. You can actually hear a lot of sound coming from out there as well.
As long as Landor's not here.
Yeah.
I don't think much Landor left to be here.
Carrick, he hurries over to you, and you see him digging through his robes for something else before pulling out what looks like to be a very, very officially rolled piece of paper.
Okay.
Marriage proposal, right?
Yes, totally.
Maris has signed off on everything. You are all clear.
Okay. Thank you.
This is yours to keep it on your person.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm gonna slip it into.
You're quite welcome. No, thank you for what just happened. And you can see his face is beet red.
Not gonna live it down for a little bit, I think, though.
No, I'm not. And you can see him glaring towards his brother as he says that.
The which one? The eldest or the other one?
The middle, Kalan.
Okay.
Oh, they pushed him into it.
Yeah.
I was just making sure because.
And yeah,
Lucian was the mage.
Lucian's the mage. Yes.
Okay.
A little after, you do see Father Stone comes in, talking to the Shire Reef, who has seemingly he's now out of most of his guard armor. He's still dressed rather officially, but it's no longer the plated stuff he was wearing for the ceremony.
It's just fancy.
He comes over to you, Giston, and just care, and he smiles fondly down at you and goes, "My congratulations to you both."
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for everything you did at the wedding. That was so beautiful.
Small token from the city, I suppose.
And she'll do a big flourishing bow and kind of drag Kara down with her to do it.
And he actually gives you a deep bow in return, and then pops off a salute, which don't know if you're familiar with the tradition, but it's clearly very respectful.
She mimics it back because she's been flopping salutes at him on and off anyway.
Now, if you don't mind, I'd very much like to partake in some of these fine drinks.
Oh yeah, go right ahead. Watch out, Baldur's in a pushing mood. If there's anything else in tradition that needs to be thrown and got.
Didn't think him the playful sort.
He's just about thrown Corvus across the hall twice. You missed
Encourage
it.
that.
Corvus does the hands up like, what the hell?
I hope it was quite hard. And then he goes off to get himself some drink.
Arjun's gonna look over. She's gonna like, by the way, Giffen, you know you're kind of supposed to like curtsy in the dress, not bow.
How do you do that?
Arjun will actually then do a surprisingly well done curtsy.
Oh, okay. Well, Gifted will mimic that a few times, like that.
Like it drilled into her head since she was a kid.
Looks so unusual, though.
Coming from her, yeah.
Yes.
That Artie, that doesn't look. Just stop doing that. It's good, but just stop doing that.
Like, well, have you seen what I'm wearing?
True.
Just one thing. I don't know Archie and Carrick and Corvus. Maybe we should. She kind of looks at the table because it's kind of she's a fixture point right now, right? So she's kind of gonna stay here. Maybe go pay respects to the Capes for You know?
Do you want to lift there?
Huh?
Do you want to lift there?
In a bit, I think. I'm just not sure for
She
sure.
needs to mingle for a little bit.
I was told to stay over in this area for a little while, but I don't know how
Yeah.
long a little while is.
We'll go pair respects.
Yeah.
You mingle.
Yep, go mingle. Maybe you'll meet somebody nice. Ask them
I
about
knew
books.
one person who would be offended if I did that.
No,
And,
wait, not the relationships. Can't you just meet people for friendly? What do you do?
With her, I don't think any of us will ever know.
Alright, sorry, DM.
I'll tell you when you're older.
As you guys go off to do attempting this mingle, Cassie, you are holding this lovely bouquet, and suddenly 3 figures come towards you. Looks to be a young gentleman, a woman around the same age, and a small little girl. Who's following along, sort of holding their hands. They're not dressed in quite the noble finery that a lot of people in here are. They're nice clothes, but they're commoner nice, you know. And you can see him sort of gesturing his head towards you to the woman with him as he walks up and goes, "Miss Stillshot."
Yes.
And Cass, give me a just a straight intellect roll, please.
I know what this is.
Out of character, so do I.
In character, you don't.
And you look at this gentleman, and there's something itching there. Does that voice sound familiar? But it's hard to recognise because his face was covered by a helmet. And he stands there and he gives you a deep bow. I just wanted to thank you. I never got the chance for. And he looks at his wife and child and for saving my life down there.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about that. It's what we do.
Well, I don't know how you survived, but I thank Mirrors that you did. It's thank you. And you can see him sort of squeeze his little girl's hand tighter as he's thanking you.
Cass is actually going to not sit down, but lie down.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of do the horse drop. And she's going to get eye to eye with the little girl and goes, "Shh," and hand her the bouquet. You got this.
Oh, and you see the little girl's eyes sort of light up a bit, and she sort of hugs this bouquet to her chest. And you see his wife smile, and he still looks like he's like, this is the person that saved my life, and now they're being even nicer. What is this? Is this even real? But he bows again and goes, I won't keep you, but I just want to say thank you.
Take care of them.
I will. I will. And he sort of he actually reaches down and picks up his little girl, and you can see him starting to talk to her about the bouquet as he walks off with his wife and child.
And Cass is waving to the little girl as she leaves.
Yeah, and she waves back over her father's shoulder. You saved a man and didn't rob his family of something.
Aww. You saved the man and were kind to his daughter on top. Aww.
He feels like a real deal now.
And the DM's heart grew 3 times that day, only to shrivel moments later when she realized she was irritated.
Saltier will actually approach Cassie at some point and ask, "So, you caught the bouquet?"
Cass looks and goes, "What bouquet?" I didn't catch it. And is the guy and the little girl still in?
Oh no, still probably be.
Yeah, they move back out onto the street. They don't feel exactly comfortable in here.
Yeah. No, just because you ate it doesn't mean it's
gone.
gone.
She ate the bouquet.
She has eaten a bouquet of flowers before.
So, who's the lucky gentleman?
Or lady. We're progressive.
Good point.
Cass is like, what?
When you catch it, it means that you're supposed to be the next to get married.
Oh,
Cass
supposed to
stops,
eat it.
looks around, looks down at Thaldir, and goes, Thaldir, there's not... Everyone here is on 2 legs.
You don't know what people are into.
So,
Also, I don't have the bouquet, if you notice. And she's holds up her hands and does a wiggle. Little girl caught it. Her parents already left with her. And Cass smiles.
well, good job on not trampling Corvus. That would have been awkward.
Funny, but awkward.
Wait, where was Corvus?
Right under your feet.
Do I need to punch him for some reason?
Well, he seems to keep falling head over heels for you.
And you hear one of the musicians go, "Sorry, drop the drum and snare."
For fuck's sake!
Is
man.
Thaldir holding a drink?
No.
Damn it.
This is sober Thaldir talk. Wait till he gets drunk.
Let's not.
Ollie, what is nearby for that Cass can grab as a drink?
There's plenty nearby. This is semi-noble treatment, so there are servers going around with little trays.
Cass is going to grab a bottle of, or not a bottle, a glass of champagne or wine or whatever is going by, and just look at Thaldir and going, "You're going to drive me to drink," and then she's going to slug down whatever she took.
Very fruity, what you just had.
That was very
whatever
expensive.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
Oh,
Is she doing that kind of stomping in one place like that's what people do with alcohol?
What did I just?
No,
Why did I just
no.
try to down a bottle of wine?
no, she's doing the entire. Oh my God! How many pieces of fruit did I just eat?
All of them.
All the fruit in the world.
It's a lovely dress, and it's nice. There, enjoy
Yes.
it.
Yes. By the way, never mind. My mind just stopped. You have a good one, Thaldir.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, the caravan's done.
Excellent. I'm sure you did a fantastic job.
All the pieces should be coming in soon, so I may need your help with a few things.
Anything, just ask.
Okay, because it's getting really tight for me to get in there, so...
And
And
Carrick,
short.
and then Carrick gets called because he's probably the scrawniest of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, character or RG, send him in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Soon enough, Giffen and Care, you are required to dance for the amusement of all.
All right.
I was waiting. I was hoping that the
All
Shire
right.
was
So
gonna say,
performance
I
check,
asked
right?
first.
Yeah, I do actually want a performance check from you.
All right. Well, I am
And
prepared.
I really
to...
hope you can make up for Cares.
I was kind of surprised you didn't make Kara terrible speak for it.
I believe I can.
He is getting a +1 just because he practiced, and he got a 10. That's okay. So,
Yeah, so-
you lead.
Yeah, I lead. And I'm pretty sure that everything I've learned from Cape's little daughter.
Oh no!
So we only know
That's a lot-
one waltz.
It's a very energetic dance. Yeah.
Yes.
But for you, it's a wide floor, so you can waltz around.
Yeah, so we waltz around a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as their dance finishes, that's when other people start to join in, which briefly terrifying, but people
Yeah.
do seem to be keeping in mind of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Carrick and Cassie, you are actually a gentleman comes up to you, Cass, and asks for your hand in the dance.
Oh god!
He seems to
That's
be
dangerous.
a young noble, judging by how he's being treated when you see him around the room. Not of much importance, but
A minor noble.
a minor noble.
He's brave enough to ask. Cass will dance with him.
Carrick, you get a few young ladies asking for your hand to dance.
He'll dance.
You should hold off and only dance with the jeweler.
Or
My sisters hate me.
What? I'm just saying we owe him dinner.
I thought I took them.
Oh yeah, you went to dinner. Never mind.
Yeah. Notably, he is not actually here.
Oh.
I imagine you did invite him.
Yeah.
But you don't see him in this room.
Okay.
Corvus, you are asked to dance by someone you probably saw the legs of when you were shoved into the crowd of ladies.
Oh,
I
scandalous.
hope she's a really bouncy, giggly girl.
Yep, she is. She seemed amused by what happened to you and decided to come and ask you. RG, of course, you are grabbed by Marissa.
Of course.
Yeah. And Faldir, a older woman comes up to you. She's dressed quite properly. You have to assume that she's either an older sister in one of the houses or somebody's mother. Not unpleasant, but definitely old. And does ask for your hand in the dance.
All right. I want all of them to have to do performance checks, please.
What was that, Faldir?
I will just say, well, if you're sure, young lady, I'd be honored.
And you can actually see she tries to hide it to be proper and noble, but you can see that look of, ooh, he called me young. And all of you give me a performance check, please.
Hooray!
Hurrah!
If you get a
Okay.
10, you do just fine. Wow.
How about 22?
Right. So
Ask me a
Carrick,
piss.
very nice. So Carrick, you actually give this young lady whichever one you chose, or you may actually end up switching partners midway through. Who knows?
I have a feeling I'm going to
Yeah.
be forced to
Yeah.
change.
How do I dance with 5 people at the same time?
With a 22 performance.
Carrick is basically, the balls where you switch partners, only it's just him doing it with a fuckload of
It's
girls.
just every once in a while he does the thing where he's supposed to be turning around with her, and as he makes
Yeah.
the turn, she's gone, and there's another girl
Yeah.
there. And there's
Yeah,
everyone
but
else
he's
is
done a
just
good
hearing
spell.
a sharp scream as a girl gets flung away, and another one dives in.
Corvus, it's a little stilted. You're not familiar with this, but you perform adequately. Lady with you seems to enjoy herself. Everyone else, you put on a very nice show.
Especially Cassie, because that's a centaur.
Yeah, Cass, that's actually fairly impressive. And
Unfortunately, the floor is now marred.
Faldir, you make an old noble lady feel young again. And basically, the night passes in merriment. The crowd changes a little bit through the night as people sort of filter in and out. And towards the end of it, certain nobles start to make their way out. You see the terrace people starting to depart. It's a sort of they've made their appearance as they should.
Mhm.
And while the Capays remain, the people in the tavern start to become a bit more of the common folk. You see a few more familiar guard faces as they come off duty and come join in the merriment.
Yeah.
And it starts to feel a little bit more familiar and comfortable rather than a display.
Yeah.
I suppose... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sam.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, I suppose at some point, as it's getting into something of a calmer bit, Thaldir will actually stand up and raise a glass.
You do the tink, tink, tink.
Yeah.
And things begin to a hush.
I'm not really one for long speeches, but
2 hours later.
I feel I should say a few words. Forgive me for not being great with these. I don't say too much, and no one's accused me of ever being a scholar. While I may not know about words or books, I do know one thing. Gifton. I haven't known her long, but in this short time, I've learned so much about this wonderful girl. She's a ray of sunshine with a beaming personality, but that's not the most important thing. It's her heart. More than anything, I more than anyone I've known. She cares about people and about the right thing. I've seen many times her courage and bravery outweighing any potential risks. She rushed in to aid someone in need. Since meeting her at the tragic end of Tarnstead, she's continually sought to do the right thing, but not like a fool either. She helped avoid violence in so many cases and sought a way that would help people. Oh, she could fight if need be, though. But it's that hard, that drive to do and be better, that I admire about her. Can't help but wish I had that same attitude. No, she pushes for what's right. This whole city's here because of her. I have no doubt of that. It was her drive to learn about some things, to help an innkeeper, to save an innocent girl, to save her family, friends, the people of this city. She gave all for it. I heard she collapsed, putting everything in healing victims of the attack. I saw her in the keep, and she was still trying to help more, give more, do anything. She had to be restrained. Thank you, Dingus. And she fought to give more, to help more. I've only known one person like that, and no, never quite the same. Gifted and special. And I know this is the kind of person she'll be in marriage to. She'll give everything to do right by Care. It's gonna quietly turn to a nearby party member. It is Care, right?
It just
Yes.
And she will always do with kindness and bravery and heart. Oh, I don't envy you, boys. You've got quite a bar to meet with her, but I know she'll do anything to help you, and she certainly loves you. We wouldn't be here, I hope. So I wish all the best for both of you. Feel free to lean on me whenever needed. I'll offer whatever help I can. Not that either of you will need it. I don't really like long speeches, so good luck, the two of you. I wish you all the happiness in the world.
Gifted is all choked up.
It's followed by a uproarious applause. Seems to be actually started by the Capades and taken up by the others in the inn. You can see the very same guardsman that you've helped save, Gifton, sort of applauding you, knowing the truth of his words. Elias there, who you have helped. You can see Melina on her father's lap, starting to look very sort of dozy towards this time.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these people that you've helped and affected.
Yeah, Gifton's a little choked up right now, and a little red faced, and she just kind of, is being very shy about this.
Care sort of squeezes
like
you
a
in
little bit
against him
much.
and kisses you on the top of your head.
Mm-hmm. And
Corvus will stand up, raise his glass. So, Zaldir, that was very well put, and stole most of the words out of my own mouth that I was going to say for Gifton, so I won't impede upon that. I would just say that Gifton, what Zaldir says is more than I can express, and he did it more eloquently than I could ever. So, most that I would say is that I'm happy to know you, to be your friend, and to have been considered part of the family among everyone here. Best wishes to the both of you.
It's followed by a few sort of hears in the crowd.
More clapping, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Corvus will actually pat Thaldir on the back. It was a good job.
Yep.
Thank you.
Gifton's gonna take a little bit to compose herself, and then she's gonna get Care up on Dingus with her and kind of go over to the Capes really quick.
As you approach the Capes, they're sort of sitting off at a table, keeping to themselves mostly now.
Yeah.
As you approach, you see sort of Kalan straighten up a bit. Lucian actually seems to be a little bit tipsy. And he just sort of smiles and waves as you come over.
Yeah, wave at him. And I'll help Care down. Then I'll do a very, very, what curtsy thing that RG taught me.
And the older Cape actually stands up. And you see him give a short little bow to you in return. Mm-hmm. He goes, it's a pleasure to finally meet your acquaintance.
It is a great honor, my lord. And it is a great honor to all of us to have all of you here.
It is my pleasure, and I'm glad we can be here. You have made quite the mark on my family.
I think your family has made quite the mark on the city. She kind of does a slight wave at Melina.
Melina sort of, she sort of sits up straight a bit, gives you a wave, but you can see she's actually struggling to stay awake now.
My dear lady, will you be here much longer?
And she nods her head as you see.
And I'm kind of looking over at Callan doing that shake the head. No.
Yeah, shaking his head a bit.
Well, I wanted to thank you so much for being the flower girl at my wedding. You did such a beautiful job. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for letting me be a flower girl.
And Gifton's again going to give a bow to Lord Capet. She actually doesn't know his name.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to give a big bow to Lord Capet, and then, other ones to the other brothers, and go, as always, if ever you have need, I am at your disposal.
Of course. But I think perhaps you and Kate will be taking a few days to yourselves, yes?
I think maybe the weekend.
Well, you're, of course, welcome in our house anytime, Callan says, sort of looking at his brother, who nods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's gonna nod, and then they'll get back up on the mount and get away, because encroaching on the noble table seems a little awkward.
Flippity flap.
Yeah.
Especially as Lucian's is now sort of going, we're not going already, are we? This is great.
Did you see the centaur dance? I didn't know she could move like that.
Now that you've talked to them, they do seem to be sort of getting themselves together, and heading out.
Yeah.
And the rest of the night passes in merriment that comes and goes. There's those moments of calm, slow moment where the band sort of takes a break. Mm-hmm. People just sort of chatter together, and then it picks up into the lively song again, and it goes on well into the night. Frankly, even if you and Care leave, the party continues.
Oh, we'll leave at some point. I'm leaving you guys here. Good luck.
Yeah, Dingus will take you and Care wherever you please to go.
I think we're staying with Edward Elasinor still. So.
Yep. Your mother, for other things, she gives you a few sort of blubbery. She's so happy for you. Mm-hmm. You get the feeling she's getting a little tipsy herself.
Yeah.
And Edward actually offers to take her home himself a little bit before you actually go.
Yeah. Probably not a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll take our leave, and everybody else can stay at the party if they want.
Yeah.
I'll wander out to the stable at some point and hang out with Klopp.
Yeah. You see, Klopp is there munching happily on an apple, it looks like.
Great, now I have to worry about Klopp getting drunk.
No, it's spoiled apples, not.
Notably, haven't been drinking.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean I can give him some.
And as you walk out to Klopp, you can see him sort of, do that little horsey head toss happily at the sight of you. And he presses up more against the stables gate.
I'll sneak whatever food I was able to steal on my way out.
Oh, yeah.
Apples and sugars and sweets.
Yeah, you can feed him a lovely apple tart if you so please.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he takes it from you and munches on it very happily. And give me a perception check, please, Valdir.
Almost clicked performance again.
Right. So you have attended the cop for quite a while now. I imagine you've been checking on him most days.
Sure.
And you know where you put the feed, where you keep stuff. His feed bag is just sort of open and in his stall right now. And it's definitely not where you left it.
Someone else been playing around in here.
And Klopp, in response, just sort of lets out a little whinny and tosses his head a bit because you're talking.
Right.
You're talking. I'm talking too.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, don't tell me who did it. That's fine. I guess I'll just put it away again.
All right, so you go into his stall and you grab the feed bag, and yeah, it's basically half empty now. He has eaten a lot of feed.
You're gonna get quite fat if you keep this up.
And Klopp just sort of moves a little closer over to you, and you see him nosing down at the feed bag now that you're picking up.
It is a celebration, I suppose.
Celebrations.
Celebration time, come on!
And you're going to let him have a bit more feed?
Yeah, I'll let him have a bit more.
Okay. He dips his muzzle into the bag, and not only do you hear a sort of happy snort, you see his body shiver like a ripple just runs along it unnaturally.
I'd say I'd had too much to drink, but I haven't been drinking tonight.
Klopp's ears flicker a bit as horses do, just happily munching away.
You all right there, bud?
He lifts his muzzle off a bit, sort of, hiking the bag up with it a bit, and there's that sort of head shake a bit up and down. Yep. Happy horse.
I'll get another bag tomorrow. Might be easier to rest here. I think they're gonna go all night.
You're gonna rest in the stable, Klopp?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, you are able to plunk yourself down in that lovely tailored suit into the hay.
Certainly not quiet, but
Yeah.
quieter.
The sounds of merriment dimmed a little bit, at least by the walls. And Klopp will actually settle down right beside you, and you almost get sort of horse rolled.
That is so your horse.
That is so his horse.
All right. And Falder's going to pass the night like that. How about everyone else?
When I finally get stopped being asked for
Takes a while.
dance. Yeah, I figured. I'm figuring it's probably gonna be close to time to sleep by the time I'm done.
Yeah. And you actually do get some solicitations. In fact, throughout the night, you get solicitations.
Oh my god!
You are the sexy.
No. He ain't doing that.
You make your excuses.
Yeah, he's making excuses. I'm also gonna, before I go to bed, check on Elias and make sure he's okay and doesn't need
Elias
anything.
is actually seems to be taking part in the celebration himself. Looks like there were a few servers put in here by
Hey.
Capet, so he essentially had the night off while also getting a lot of attention to his business. So he's very happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
He loves us. He hopes we leave soon.
Yeah.
We're
This
great
has
for
been
his
like
business, not so great for his heart.
And in fact, as you sort of come to check up on him, he sort of puts an arm over the shoulders and pushes a half empty tankard into your hands. Goes, Carrick, having a good time?
Yes, I am.
Glad to hear it. This is the finest time I've had in a long while.
Good to hear you're having a good time. I think I'm gonna head to bed. You don't stay up too late.
Nah, don't you worry about me. You have a good night.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And he takes the drink from you as if you had brought it to him.
I was parched.
So hungover tomorrow.
Right, so you head up to the rooms.
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Argy?
She probably danced a couple more times with Marissa and just generally hung out with her and enjoyed her presence for the evening. And probably as the night went on, ended up having to take her upstairs because she probably drank a bunch
Mm-hmm.
in a weird reversal.
Yep. Yeah. Marissa gets very, very giggly when she's drunk. You're kind of used to her being the more teasy sort between you and the relationship, but she just seems to have gotten into a silly mess, and keeps just trying to pull you into bed to cuddle as you're trying to get her settled in properly.
Mm-hmm. RJ will eventually just give into it and just upstairs, just stay there.
Yeah. And she tries to elicit some things, and then, right in the middle of okay, maybe we'll do something, she's sort of slumps on top of you, and very ungracefully starts to snore.
Tiefling.exe
Yeah,
Yeah,
has
she's also
unexpectedly stopped.
so much taller than you, so this is great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she is quite a bit heavier than you are.
Or he just kind of shifts her a bit off and just kind of lays down with her.
Yeah.
Beautiful nose.
Corvus, what about you?
Corvus would probably drink a bit and just watch the scenery and then probably retire before Carrick did.
Yeah. So you get yourself a relatively early night in
Yeah.
comparison to everyone else. What about you, Cass?
Cass is going to wait until pretty much everyone is done
Mm-hmm.
and gone, and then she's going to help Elias close up before she goes to bed.
Okay, so that happens at around 4 or 5 a.m. the next day.
Oh,
You
Cass.
are up. Yeah, you're up for a long while. Helping Elias clean up is actually helping him wake some people up and get them to leave, as people are just sort of drunk too much, slumped into chairs. Actually, no, you don't help him do that because he's one of them.
The cleanup crew from
no,
Calan Capet shows up.
Nope, Cass will be politely waking people up when the sun starts to come back up, and shooing them off to their homes, being very respectful and very quiet.
Pained groans as people stumble out.
She's making sure everyone drinks a glass of water before they go.
Don't do that; you'll poison them.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, water's terrible.
Yeah.
A little bit of mead with some water, probably.
Yes. Watered down mead is what you give them.
Yeah. Something to kill the disease in the water, please.
Yep. But you see people off as fit as you can.
And she's just going to orbit, make sure everyone is gone, make sure Elias has been shunted up to his bed.
You take him into his little room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
not gonna know how he ended up in there, but he did.
Yep.
And Cass is just going to clean up a bit before she finally toddles off to sleep for a little bit, making sure the door is locked.
Okay. All right. So you all make your ways to your own arrangements. The next morning comes. For some, it comes with thumping heads. Gifton, you and Care are actually brought breakfast by your mother, who knocks really, really loudly. Like,
ow!
really loudly and for a long time, as if to make sure you know I'm coming in.
Be
Ow!
direct.
Coming in.
I got my pajamas on. I'm okay. I want my nightshirt or whatever.
You can see Care pulling the little pillow over his face,
Oh,
noise.
Yeah, Mom.
I've got breakfast for you both.
Oh, that's lovely.
Are you decent?
I am. Cares.
Divine decent.
Fine.
Care just pulls blankets up over himself,
He's hiding.
and then the door opens, and she brings you in a little meal. You can see basically bits of egg and bacon. It's a brownie-sized meal, but it's clearly made from the big stuff. Yeah. But there's a lovely bit of yolk on there.
Yeah. Oh wow, that looks amazing.
Yes.
Did you get a good night's sleep?
Yeah.
Did you sleep?
I slept.
Where did you sleep?
I don't know. I woke up on the table in the sewing room. I think Ed would put me on something soft, but I wasn't there.
Oh my.
I think I fell off. My side really hurts, but
let me have a look at you.
oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Here, just give me your hand for a second.
And she does reach her hand out, but it's by pushing this tray against you as if trying to nudge you back onto the bed with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her with this though.
And
all better. There you go.
Thank you, darling.
You all right?
And yes, yes.
Be more
much
careful
better.
with those, tables.
Yes.
Is it all better? Does it hurt anymore?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's breakfast.
That breakfast, yeah.
And she sort of like places this firmly on your lap, making sure you're in bed.
Yep.
And she then sort of like looks past you and goes, "Good morning, Care." And Care sort of goes, "Morning, morning," and uncovers his face and sort of sits up a bit. Right. Well, we're going to leave you two alone for the day, Bono. If you need anything, just holler for us, okay?
Okay.
And you can then see Dingus's head trying to peek in through the doorway.
I'm gonna motion him in.
And Dingus bounds in past your mother, who goes, "Oh, Dingus, no!" Oh,
He's like a big
Dingus,
puppy.
yeah, Dingus bounds up, and you can get all those things in your head of like how sleep, good sleep. Are you okay?
Yep. And
all good.
Just give him a big hug around the head, and pat, and give him a kiss on the forehead. There you go. Did you have breakfast? We're having breakfast.
Dingus starts to bob his head and then pauses as if thinking and starts shaking his head.
They haven't fed you yet?
And he shakes his head very dramatically.
Oh,
we
no.
did. He has eaten. And you can see Dingus just sort of... Meep!
Bad mother.
Damn cats.
Alright, well, how about we let Kara sleep in a little bit? Come on, Dingus, and I'll leave him.
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Yeah, you look like you might be hiding from the sun for a couple hours.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah. I think that's the alcohol. It's a little bit stronger stuff than we're used to.
Oh, what did they put in that?
I don't know. It's different.
How are you up?
Very resistant to poison, apparently.
Because I'm magic.
You see, I'll get myself ready, darling.
Hey,
And
you want me to? She's kind of like reaching out. You want a little?
And he shakes his head, and you see him sort of. He's very awkwardly getting out of bed, like, oh god.
I'm pretty sure 5 points of hot hands will remove poison.
It does. Yes.
And I'm pretty sure hangover counts as poisoned.
Yeah. But Dingus is sort of like nudging against you for attention.
Oh yeah, I'm a pet dingus. Hey, he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's jealous.
Did you have a good party time?
Oh my god, you get so many flashes of different like ideas of flavor and like shapes of food and stuff that he's never seen before.
Yeah, I have never seen that
Trying
either.
to flash
I didn't
it
even
all, like,
try it
inside
most
of
of that stuff last night because there's just not enough room on a plate.
Yeah, at one moment in the party, people may have just seen the Sula dragon just sort of rolling in a plate of food.
I like to think of, you remember from like Charlotte's Web when the fat rat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's basically smorgasbord.
Combine that with that cocktail putting its head into the chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
That's basically Dingus.
Yeah, that's basically Dingus last night.
But yeah, you are basically nothing is asked of you today.
I will say I'm probably just doing family time for the next couple of days, and that's how I'm gonna do stuff.
Everyone else, things return to normalcy again with a bit of added pain that morning for some. Faldir, you wake up in the stables,
in the arms of Klopp.
Yeah, stuck in your lovely clothing. Strange enough, you fell asleep and Klopp lay down beside you, but now you do seem to be sort of propped up vaguely against Klopp's belly. That's sort of wide horse belly that's been very well fed.
I hope I didn't ruin this.
You say, looking at the outfit that you've definitely ruined by sleeping in it. At least by noble standards, it's probably perfectly serviceable for you still.
I'll go check the feed bag.
Yeah, the feed bag is empty. Very empty.
I'm gonna go to my room and change into normal clothing and try to pat down the clothing I had.
You get into your room. You see Carrick sort of sprawled out on a bed. Corvus just basically face down on a desk. You pat down your clothing and you get most of the straw off of it. But yeah, it's definitely ruffled, wrinkled up. You can see a few buttons have popped off as you've rolled in your sleep with it.
I'm gonna go looking for the buttons.
Okay, so you go back down to search for buttons. Okay, just for the sake of it, give me an investigation check.
Well, fuck.
Looking for. At least it's not a needle.
Yes.
As you sort of start ruffling through the mud and muck and such of this table, you're not finding it. Klopp sort of gets up and you can hear him snorting behind you, as if inquisitively curious.
You didn't happen to eat the buttons, did you?
You say that, and you continue searching for the hay, and then a few moments later, a couple of buttons just fall in front of you.
I'm losing something at my age.
And then you just hear the happy snort of Klopp above you.
Now I just need to get this fixed. If only there was a working tailor today.
Yeah. Oh, that chops me because there's probably far more commentators about, but you'd have to go looking.
It's not like you don't know cast mending and prestidigitation. You could probably clean and press your outfit and mend it.
Yeah, but Carrick's passed out right now. All right, I'm going to try to store the clothing in a good manner and then go find food for Klopp because I did
Okay.
promise.
Yeah, you're able to do that easily. In fact, I'm pretty sure you guys have extra feed around, right? Yeah.
I bought 21 days worth of horse feed
Yeah.
for 4 horses. There's food
Yeah.
around. But it's at
Yeah.
the cart,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, at
I'm
this
sure
point,
Fowd-
since the cart's done, it would be back at the inn.
Yeah, if the cart can be stowed at the end, it'd be there.
Yeah, sure. Found it. You're able to get feed for Klopp, who is very happy about this, despite having eaten so much.
There's also apples in there, probably. Actually, might not
There
have
is
the
still
apples
a
yet.
lot of leftover food in the inn as well.
Yeah.
I go for some of that leftover food for breakfast.
Yeah. You can hear sort of a groan from Elias's little room at the back as he's awakening. And yeah, you're able to go about your day. You sort of get yourself sorted, and the day passes by nicely calm after all that merriment. Gifton, you and Care basically get plenty of time alone. Care, even if at any point you want to go out, sort of braves it with you. Whether it be for a ride or to visit somewhere.
Maybe we'll do a little ride around town to look at the little shops.
Yeah.
We won't need to go in, but she likes to go look at the shops.
Yeah. And he goes along with you. The days pass. Soon the little sort of honeymoon period passes by, and things start to return to normal, which is vaguely disappointing. It's a fun time, but life does go on.
Yeah.
When the time passes, you'll go back to your studies or whatever it is you want to be doing. Gifting, you end up, going to the leather workers for a few more lessons. Claire actually asked to come along on one day just to watch. Seeming to take an interest in what you're doing. When you're there, Melina comes out on occasion and babbles at you about the wedding as if you weren't there. She's got to tell you all about it.
Oh, I let her tell me all about it I wasn't there, because it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And soon enough, the month passes by, and we get towards the end of the downtime period.
Oh no, guys.
Last chances for anything people need to do before I get on with the goddamn stories and plot.
Gifton had commissioned Cassiopeia to make furniture for her mom.
And myself.
Would that be?
Didn't I have you roll for that already?
Yeah, you already rolled for that.
Yes, but I didn't know if it had been handed over yet.
You could probably have done that as a wedding gift for Gifton and such, if you so wanted.
I made sure that stuff was in the brownie cabinet.
Yeah, you're able to get that all sorted out.
Yeah.
Cass, everything for the Fardo is delivered without incident. You get your windows, you get the lovely little cooker thing.
And Cass is loving every minute of it because it's finally finished.
Yep. Fardo does have to give you a hand in installing some of this stuff, just to get inside and such. Fardo, the it's very, very fine craftsmanship on that little cooker.
Done an excellent.
Oh yeah, Elvish make. Surprisingly.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean.
Why did you lie to me, Hallie?
No, they have a Elvish blacksmith in town, and she's really nice and does some surprisingly fast work. And she's not horribly expensive.
Always beware. Often get paid for.
Oh, trust me, I'm getting what I paid for.
We should probably have a group discussion during the time about the land.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. Actually, indeed, towards the end of the month, because this can go in with everything else. you are given a invitation to House Capet. And this is actually delivered in written form, and it seems semi-official. And it basically asks you to attend to discuss matters of import as to the possible aid to the city and the actions of your own little company you've made. Oh, by the way, who was the company signee? Because one person would basically be listed as the owner, as such. I'm
Calder.
assuming Faldir.
Valdir.
All there.
I guess.
Yeah, Faldir. So this land deed would have been handed to you, as with the company thing, and with the land deed, you do notice that you are listed as Lord Forgehammer now.
Um,
You own land.
this is
Yeah, now you can't say no, it's not Lord, because it is.
yeah. This is. Well, I guess that is what price do we have to pay?
Right. So, I hope you all attend to this invitation.
Yeah.
Does anyone really want to slight pay and not show up?
That seems like a
Not
poor idea.
everyone's coming,
Better-
even if they have to be drugged.
We should totally sleight of hand him some.
I'm assuming
Okay.
that me and Kara are spending towards the end of the month getting situated in the cabinet
Yeah.
thing.
And I imagine, you've basically been shown this cabinet. You and Care have had a few more talks about, him actually coming with you. Like he already agreed to, but you take a bit more time to sort of discuss it and reaffirm it.
Yeah. I also talked with him
And-
about, does he want a forge or anything like that to make tools and things with.
That'd be lovely, but how would we?
I'm sure
would
we
be-
could. I'm sure we could find a way. They make portable ones, so
That would be good. I mean,
you could just put down a little metal plate, or they could put down like a plate or a bit of stone maybe, and then we could use that.
yeah. I mean, someone's got to equip you, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to keep me going.
And he actually seems to brighten up this idea because you can tell he's been feeling a bit listless
But yeah, because I mean, her and her mom are both, into the
working,
idea of
and
working.
he's sort of doing nothing.
Yeah. So she'll
And it's
start
been
looking
getting to
into. I don't know how much portable a forge would be to get made, but she'll start looking into
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, sorry, I didn't want to
yeah.
sidetrack.
And you'll make your way to Haskapay, be it as a group or individually. And it's not quite the outcome right in. I'll take you to the Lord as usual. It is you are taken into the sitting room and told that the Lord Capet will attend shortly.
Mhm.
And after a while, you are greeted by the sight of Callan and his older brother coming in.
I will stand kind of at attention, or be kind of a little more at attention, and give a sweeping curtsy.
Looking at RG. Is this the
RG.
one?
RG gives a thumbs up.
And doesn't
I'm
curtsy.
gonna
She's wearing pants now. She's not doing it.
gonna bow to the Capes.
RG, wow, because wearing pants.
You can see Callan sort of waving his hand as if that's not necessary, and his older brother gives you an appreciative nod. But you can see he's basically taking his little brother's lead here. Of you don't have to do this.
Mhm.
And Callan says, "Thank you all for making the time and coming here." So I'm well aware that you don't all plan to be staying here indefinitely, and I've been going through some things with the help of my brother, and well, we may have some job offers for you if you'd be willing to hear them out.
I look
Always.
at Valdir.
I'll let Carrick answer if Carrick answered.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm of the mind of always as well, but I always say it's like I'm
Yeah.
nodding but looking over at Thaldir.
Yeah, I'd nod as he's saying it, I guess.
And Kellen's older brother sort of steps forward a bit and goes, yeah. And he's got to straighten out her head a bit. Where is that file? There it is.
I don't know. There's gonna be a file.
And he's also got a
no.
horrible cough.
Huh.
I have had words with the Shire Reeve. I should let you know that our offer is not the only one on the table, and of course you should feel free to consider any other as well. And we do not expect an answer immediately, but soon. The restoration of the city has a few issues, namely materials. A lot of buildings were damaged, and there is only so much lumber. And frankly, herbs in the city. A lot of people have been treated and healed. And he looks at you, Gifton, as he says that. There are some ongoing ailments that need treatment as well. And frankly, we cannot ask you to stay here and see to them indefinitely. So medicinal herbs and the like are needed. Frankly, things like clay. I won't bore you all with details, but restoration materials. So, House Capet and House Terrace are going to be leading an expedition to gather materials. We've already ordered some in from neighbouring cities, but that will take its own time, and frankly, it's not enough. So we shall be setting out to some nearby areas to gather things. Unfortunately, these areas are quite hostile. You must know that if you start going off the usual roads that are patrolled, things get a little riskier. So, we would like to hire you out as guards for an expedition, if that sort of thing would interest you.
I would be of interest to see some of these local herbs and remedies that you speak of as well. Personal uses and the like. Advancement of my own.
totally
Tastes.
medicinal uses only,
Mm.
not any others.
It sounds like it would be for a great benefit for the city. Which way would we be heading out?
Oh wait, you guys are already on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can just drag the little thingy.
Well, so we will be sending different groups off in different directions depending on what is needed. We will have a group be going across the river towards Wintercroft to harvest lumber from the woods there. As for some of the more esoteric herbs and such that are needed, we'll be going east into the hills. There are some things that grow there that are very hard to find elsewhere. Also, a good source of very good clay. And actually, only give me a little insighty thing. Wow.
Woo! Oh!
Wow. Okay. Carrick and Corvus. There's ever so slight. There are little hint. Yeah, it's a tree. There's ever so slight. There are sort of little hints of basically the way he looks, the way he sort of shifts when he says certain words. He wants to be far more detailed on that whole material thing. Like him just saying clay does not seem to be pleasing him. As if he knows this shit really well, but also realizes don't bore the guests with the minutiae of material trade.
His spreadsheets.
His spreadsheets. And I'll be honest, we are also looking to gather a few extra surplus things while we're there. Benefiting the city is all well enough, but building up our own stores is also a good thing to do if it's in the same direction at the same time. Please understand, I do not mean we are still helping the city in its entirety, but
You should help yourselves in whatever matters that you see.
Yeah, you've put a lot into the city and you've stretched your own finances, so I can understand.
Yes.
You need to
And
go
it's a
forward.
convenient opportunity.
Yes.
What more are you interested in up to the northeast?
Well, frankly, in those directions, it's a little wilder, and there are far more stranger creatures out there. Some of which have very valuable components, be it for alchemical or magical means. And I'd want you to keep an eye on the expedition group, but I would also appreciate it if you went hunting for me as well.
So the honest question I have is, of the two of them, which is the one you think that would be useful? I'm assuming probably the mountain one.
Yes, out towards the hills would be far more of use. The road through the woods towards Wintercroft is relatively safe. They'll have to deal with wolves or bears at the most, maybe some bandits, but enough that a small escort could handle. I feel your abilities would be wasted.
And you said the Shire Eve also might have something?
Yes, you've probably seen a couple of adventuring groups come into the city, and you've indeed seen one adventuring group, certainly, and you may have heard word of others sort of filtering through. They are coming in front of a rather large Barassian force. There is an army contingent heading down towards the border that should be arriving in the city in a couple of days. The Shire Reeves informs me that he's still interested in having you accompany it. As you all may recall, he did offer that quite a while ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't he charge some of us to actually go to that?
No, he asked RG to make the party consider it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't you have to do it, or not
It
even
wasn't
RG
you have to
had
do it, but it was very much, I'd really like you to.
Yeah.
I would be most appreciative if you did.
Yeah.
But that was also very much in the early days of your relationship as well.
Especially if Corvus got out of town.
He basically tried to get rid of us.
Yeah, that was my thing. Is that he gets out of town?
I'm just gonna kind of look back over at Thaldir and just kind of voice in his direction. I wouldn't mind helping the city out and getting herbs and things, because I'd rather leave the city in a better position before we eventually join the forces south.
Yes, it probably good to help out.
Getting stronger does seem the better route, just because I'm pretty sure if we go south right now, even as we are, we're probably still going to get our asses beat black and blue.
I, for one, do have interest in going that way already, so you got my vote to go to the northeaster.
And then I kind of look over at Carrick and go, it is tempting to head towards Wintercroft, though. So, but I think maybe the herbs.
The herbs would probably be for the best winter. Wintercroft's okay right now. Nope.
And
Wintercroft
honestly,
ain't going nowhere.
if we get Goldwood more secure, it'll be around to defend the surrounding cities better.
Yes.
So, I think we're very interested in going to help you get your. What kind of clay did you say it was?
Oh, you can see that sort of eagerness very, very briefly appear on his face, and
Corvus
then you
and
see
Carrick exchange a look. Oh no!
yeah, you can see Kellan sort of under his breath, and his brother just sort of stills for a moment and goes, just clay that sets very well for construction purposes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was a kind of clay that More specific.
I would. There would be people in the expedition that know what to look out for and could direct you if you wish to help with that.
Yeah, I just want to try to help keep an eye out.
Well,
Go
if
ahead.
you are considering that, then, well, we would very much like your assistance in that. And Karan has told me about the slight issue of the mines at the peaks.
Yes, sir.
It's a concern.
That is, after that initial task, or perhaps if you secure a camp and fortify it and you feel comfortable leaving the expedition, we would like a negotiating party to both secure a safe area at the peaks and see that its tenant is happy with a presence there. And would perhaps be willing to speak with one of us at some point if we were to travel there.
I think we could look at negotiating that.
Well, in that case, once lumber and such is gathered, we should have, at that point, a surplus, and could perhaps see about setting up a small operations area at the peaks.
I have a character question. What's saxophone dude?
Saxophone Dude is an abandoned church.
That's where it was. Okay.
Yep.
What?
It was the church of Talon.
Nope. The name of the church was not mentioned.
There was
Okay.
no. It was Rick Beale gave an image of a
Rick
church.
Beals, yeah.
Yeah, Rick Beale's church that he told Carrick to go to. Which, by the
wanna
way,
know
guys,
about this.
it looks like we're going that way.
The thing I'm more curious about is the
There's a
saxophone
few
part.
players mentioned interest in that, and I decided I may as well give a bit more of a hook in that direction. Then.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah, there you go.
saxophone part of it?
If you look on the map,
If
there's
you
a
look on
guy.
the map, it's a saxophone giant.
Oh, was that actually what the icon was? I
If you
remember
zone in,
seeing it.
it's a dude with a saxophone.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said, yes, towards the
And
jazz
your-
giants.
And your grandmother's place is a pimp frog.
We really appreciate your consideration, sir. I mean, my
And-
lord. I mean, sir.
Beyond that, I understand that you have come into acquisition of my island.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a
That issue.
It's my island.
as Yosef found it, you can see that sort of mixed expression on his face, that sort of vaguely mirthful, but in that sort of like, yes, of course my island was given away way. And he shakes his head. Not an issue at all. But
is there the slight tinge of, oh, thank God somebody got rid of that thing for me?
nope, he wanted his island.
He wanted the island. He liked the island. He's the one who bought the island.
Carrick's gonna look
I think
over
we're calling it
gift
Capay
bin.
Island, aren't we?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's
Pretty
what
sure
we
that's
said.
Capay Island. That was what we
Nice.
named it.
Quite right.
As
Stroke
you
the
should.
ego.
So, tell me, was this a flight of fancy? And you can see that sort of like look of, I understand it was a flight of fancy. It was for me. Or do you actually have serious intent of voyage?
Never been to an island.
I mean, partially flight of fancy because, well, we're all pretty much country bumpkins, other than Captain. I've been poking everywhere over there and pointing right at Dalder. And and on the other hand, we figured it might be a good jumping off point if we can ever get a boat for actually being able to travel places a little bit
I
easier.
don't think Goliath can swim.
Because overland is a bit of a pain.
Look down at Gifton. We can't swim that far.
Well, if this all goes well, and you, he pauses for a moment, and everyone else give me an insight check again.
He's an offer of something he doesn't want to offer.
There's that sort of. He stops himself from continuing the sentence.
Oh,
if you
wow.
prove yourselves
Holy
capable or
shit.
useful, Because while his brother has vouched for you a lot, and he has heard of your good deeds, and he's done stuff for the city, he's not experienced any of it personally.
Mm.
So he's still a little doubtful. But you can see
He solves
him.
it all from being slanderous, but it's still
Yes,
a
he
little bit of
stops himself
doubt.
from being rude because you still
Mhm.
mean something to his family, and that means something to him.
Mhm.
If you do well in this expedition, I may have further work for you, possibly along the coasts or even abroad.
We would be really honored, sir.
No, we shall discuss it in the future, and of course, I would supply a boat and a temporary crew who could possibly teach you how to operate it.
That would be greatly appreciated.
Right, good. Well, as I said, I do not need your answer immediately, but within the next couple of days, if you'd please. But I figured you would need opportunity to talk to Shy Reeve, if you so please, or even look for other work. He says as if it'd be very sad if that happened, but
It would be impolite not to speak with the Shire Reeve.
of course. Well, that is all the business we had. If there's anything you need to bring up, please feel free.
Yo, how much for the house?
Angela goes, I had asked Kalan about this previously, but when we first met, months ago at this point, he expressed some surprise at my last name. I was just wondering if you might happen to know anything about that, because it's Thal.
Oh, yes, Kalan had mentioned that. We do have records of a Foal family we have traded with in the past, a family of noble repute.
And you can color me surprised.
It's, it's no guarantee of relation. Names do pop up, but do you know of your own heritage?
I know who my parents were. That's about it. They didn't really mention anything about where they came from. My father's name was Fenothal, and my mother was Aelithal, though I'm pretty sure she changed her last name when she married him.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not familiar with those names myself, but we did do some trade with that family. Was it Sidurcross? Let me open the. Where did you base your family out of? I can't remember.
They were Wyndon.
They were Wyndon. We did do some trade with some foals out of Wyndon at some point. This was 20 years past, though.
I mean, logistically, they'd be elves, since I know both my parents were, so long-lived people.
Possibly. This was my father, though, so no first-hand experience myself.
That's fair. At least give me something.
Well, if you ever find yourself in Wyndon, I suppose it's something to look into.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Any other matters?
Lifton shakes her head.
Right. Well, yes, you go have your talk with the Shire Reeve. If you decide to join our little expedition, please let me know. Tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, also, you still have our sending stone, so make sure to always message us if you need us.
Oh yes, that reminds me. One moment. Do attend to them, Kalan, and he actually leaves the room. And you can see Kalan sort of relax a little bit once he's gone. Well, that went nicer than I expected it to.
Nicer?
I never know with him whether he's going to take to people or not.
Oh.
Myers can be a little odd at times. Good at business, not so good with
People.
much else. Yes.
Lord Capet,
Yes.
how is Lucius's arm doing?
Lucius?
Lucen?
Yes,
Lucen.
Lucen.
Lucian.
Sorry,
Lucian.
accents.
That's not accents.
Pretty sure it's healed up
That's
by now,
mispronunciation. Yeah,
Lucian is doing quite fine.
right? How's your daughter?
Has the red in his face gone down?
Oh,
But
Yes,
Is her
that
mother back
isn't-
yet? She was talking to me all about that last time I saw her.
she's actually on her way back right now. She should be a few days out still, but soon.
Oh, that'll be so great for her. And for
She's
you, of
very
course, sir.
excited.
I mean, the Lord.
Yes, time. It's been a long time since I've seen her. It would be. I'm looking forward to it, and Melina cannot wait to tell her about the wedding.
Oh, I bet.
Yes, I think maybe I won't have to hear about it anymore. No disrespect to you, Gifton.
Oh, I've heard about it 3 times in the last few days.
Yes. Yes. And you can see a vaguely distant look of, oh god, what hells I've had to bear. But soon enough, Mias returns.
Mias,
And,
okay.
Yeah, Mias Capay.
M-I-A-S?
Miyas.
Okay. Got it.
He returns carrying what looks like to be a very familiar object. It's basically one of the little radio pieces that you've all been fitted with, except Fowdy, who has the main piece.
Ooh.
Well, that base unit was left here to contact me overseas. We didn't quite realize the range of it at the time.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, it was very unfortunate. It cost me a fortune in hiring blasted mages for sending spells.
They could send spells?
Sending, it's a term they use for the long-range communication.
Oh, okay, like the stones.
Yes, like the stones. And like I thought this would be until I learned that it had a very minute range. So, quite useless to me. But here is the other unit. And he basically holds this last radio bit out, making, one more to the group you've got.
Oh, great. So we have another one that can talk to everybody.
No. This is one of the ones that can receive and send to Fowdy's unit.
Oh,
That's one
okay.
of the.
Oh, okay.
There
it's
was
one
one
of the talkers, not
missing.
the- yeah, it's one of the talkers. There wasn't one. The ones
Oh,
with
okay.
it that he had.
Oh, this was the one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Thank you, my lord.
Well, don't thank me. It's useful technology, but annoying.
Well, again,
Fair.
if you have need, we are at your disposal as much as we can be.
Thank you. Well, I shan't keep you any longer, and I have my own duties to attend to. Callan, if you'd see them out, and you see Callan nod at his brother, who then gives you all a very short bow, just a lean forward of his chest, and excuses himself. Okay, right, I suppose we'll see you out then, yes?
Yep. See you, with an answer, hopefully, soon.
Yes, and he starts to walk towards the entrance before going, how are things with you and Care? Getting on well?
Yeah, we're just, looking into, helping him acclimate. It's hard being a smith without a smithy. So,
Smith without the smithy?
yeah. He was one of our smiths. His Grey Steels were all smiths. And,
Oh, I suppose it makes sense with the name.
yeah. They used to live in the smithy in Tarnstead, and they'd make all of our tools and weapons and things. And
Oh, I'd offer you a portable forge, but I'm afraid it's not exactly scaled.
maybe with the use of it, somebody else can help make one. I look over at Thaldir, making racist assumptions.
Well, I could probably do some work, yes.
Oh, well, in that case, if you'd all come with me, and he does take you outside and takes you to basically what you've come, you, especially Gifton, being in here a lot for you, never working,
Yeah.
have come to know as basically a storage shed.
Yep.
Very nice one, but a storage shed nonetheless.
Mhm.
And you can see a couple of the groundskeepers sort of moving after Capay as if like, Lord, do you need something? It's like, no, I can get it myself, thank you. And takes you over to the shed and opens it up. It's kept rather orderly in here. but he not too well acquainted with the interior, so it takes him a little bit of searching. But soon he moves aside a few bits of wood and gestures. Here, Forge Hammer. Are you able to move this? And it is a small portable forge, and there's even a little anvil and all that kind of jazz.
I'll try and move it.
Give me a strength check.
Can anyone assist to try and give him a minute?
My God.
Yeah, found it. You almost pull out your back.
Oof.
Cass is going to try and lift this thing.
Go for it. Yeah, Cass, you're able to lift it quite easily.
I must be losing something in my age.
No, that happens sooner or later.
Things.
Yeah, you can feel that slight twinge in your back. It's just the way you moved. It's no failings of strength, surely.
You alright with carrying that back, Cassiopeia? It's not too heavy?
Oh, this is nothing.
Yeah, missed fucking 3 times standard carrying capacity.
Yep.
Well, you are welcome to take that. I'm afraid we have no spare metals beyond that with which to make your little forge, but
I'm sure we can pick up some.
yes, perhaps even on the expedition.
Yeah, maybe.
If you go.
Yeah. If it helps, whatever we can do to help.
Well, it would also be a great help to me if you accepted. My brother is welcoming of my ideas, but it would show that I'm not making wasteful investments, because I know I'm not, but, well, he...
I understand you did just spend a lot of money on things.
I did spend a lot of money, he says, as if he has been berated for this.
But you did it for good reasons.
Yes. Yes, I did. Well, it's my decision anyway. He's giving me control of this house, so... yes. It's my decision. He says, a little more confident now his brother's not actually around.
Mm-hmm.
Right, let's get you going then.
Right.
And walk you out to the gate.
Yep. I'm just gonna as soon as we're out at your shot of Calicope, guys, I think you really need to take this. Cal looks like he's been having some stress.
Yeah. It sounds like the
Probably got his brother breathing down his
we
neck
do
if that
kind of
does-
owe him a little bit. I mean, they were nice to us, but they've been overly nice to us.
Uh-huh.
And sounds like they came up with something for the mine, so.
Yeah, it seems like they have a way to make that work, and I hope your grandma will be okay with it. She doesn't eat people, right? We never really asked that.
Well, she hasn't eaten any of you yet, so.
Well, I mean, I don't.
To be
I've
fair, I
heard.
don't think she's met half of our group.
Yeah.
I think she's met most of the group.
Not Corvus.
Yeah,
I mean, she might
I
have
don't
Corvus.
think she's met Cass.
Not Cass and not Corvus, yeah.
I mean, those
Yeah.
are the two she might eat. I mean,
Yeah.
one is part
Should we
horse.
just go talk to the Shire Reeve and kind of let him know what we're thinking so far, and if he has something else he needs us to do, we'll see. Make sure he doesn't need us on an emergency.
And he may even have something that's
In that way.
along the lines as we're working out there.
Yeah. I mean, if there's something we can do on the way, we can try to help.
So you're going to head up to the keep? Cass, are you going to detour to put this away first, or are you just going to get along with you?
I figure
No,
we'll swing
it's
by
going
and
in the
drop
cart.
it off. I don't think, because we gotta head
Okay.
back south anyway. We can detour
Yeah.
and drop it off as a group.
So you pop back to the inn quick, just to drop that off before heading towards the keep. And the city is far merrier than it has been. People were actually less sullen in the streets. It's all a bit more lively. It does seem that you did notice after that wedding that spirits were a bit higher.
Mhm.
There is still the sound of construction work going on. Some buildings have actually had to be pulled down because of the damage to them, despite Cassie's efforts to save some, which she has, but there are still some that just had to go. You do know that Father Aurel actually has basically been using the Church of Talon as a little refuge for now for people that don't have homes.
You don't mean Father Aurel, right?
Not Aurel.
Father
Turner.
Turner.
Turner. That's it.
Yeah.
Aurel has such amazing power.
I'm pretty
even
sure
though-
Father
chaos.
Aurel isn't alive
Yeah.
anymore.
Oh,
well,
we heard anything
you-
about that?
There was supposed to be a trial.
That's going to come up as you get to the
Okay.
game. Yeah.
So we have not heard anything yet.
Yeah, we
You've
have
not heard anything about it, no.
Okay.
Although, actually, give me just some retroactive perception checks, and these are kind of chancy perception checks, you know.
I do remember being asked if I would be willing to be a witness, so
You were
Nope.
indeed.
I was sequestered. Sorry.
I was riding the horse.
So,
just
okay, well, 15's enough to do it, so it's just Gifton and Clovis that don't. Be it at various points, whether you saw them along the streets, such, or just heard whispers about them, or gossip, that kind of shit. At some point, a contingent from the Church of Talon did arrive in the city. A rather important one. There were quite a few priests in the group. A few heavily armored dudes wearing, Talon tabards and such, and a large, what do they call them? Carriage, important carriage. Fuck. There's a word, but I can't remember.
Eloquate?
No, not
Eloquate?
Palaquay. It wasn't carried.
Okay.
Yeah, Polk Bill. There we go.
There.
Which
Sound effect for it.
which made its way very hurriedly to the keep. And this was a few days ago. Funnily enough, Faldir, you were asked by the Shire Reeve to attend this as a witness, but no one has actually come for you at any point. And you have not been informed of exactly when the trial is, despite them having arrived a few days ago, or have heard any word. Even those of you that know the guards now, which I'd say at this point, you recognise guards on patrol. Yeah, you're all familiar enough with them. You've been out of the keep long enough that you get familiar faces. And at any point, if you ask them, they know nothing of what's gone down.
Wow.
So is this, still retroactive? Or is
No, this is a few days before this exact moment.
okay.
It's just as we approach,
we drop off.
notice.
Yeah, so
You're keeping that in mind. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind is
Can I
what we
AFK?
know. Huh?
you can AFK.
restroom break. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can talk to the Shire Reeve.
Yeah, so you'll head up to the keep, and you head on in, and the familiar face of Price is there,
Yep, scribe price.
who sort of nods at you as you enter, and hello, didn't expect to see you again so soon.
We were hoping to see the Shire Reeve.
Shire Reeve, certainly, I don't think he's busy. Why don't you follow me? And she'll get up, and you're given a bit more of a preferential treatment than most people normally are. You're not told to wait. And she leads you over to the Shire Reeve's office, and she raps on the door a few times. Sir, the Tarnstead Trading Company are here to see you. She says, looking at you all as if really, that's the name you chose. Still can't believe it.
There's this shrug for gift. What do you call it?
Please come in. And she opens up the door for you and just sort of gestures you
Can't
all
be
to
like
go in.
the Black Knives.
No, the name's already taken.
Yeah, no, it's taken.
And you're all ushered in, and the Shire Reeve is they're looking like he's you can see he's got a inkwell in his hand, which he puts in a little pot.
Reeve!
Gifton, it's lovely to see you all. How have things been?
They're looking over to see if anybody else is gonna say anything first.
Corvus is just stoically remaining quiet. It's like,
He loves being here. We're just meeting with the Capays and talking about what we might be getting up to, and we thought we might check in with you before we agree to anything.
Yes. I imagine they've made you their very enticing offers, yes?
Yeah, I mean, it is enticing as going out and trying to get some, herbs and
Play.
things for the city.
Well, I can't say my offer will be any more appealing, but I'd like to give it to you if you'd humour me.
Yep.
Yes. Well, in 2 to 3 days' time, a large contingent from Ali checks the map. A large contingent from Dorthwaite shall be arriving to head down into the barbarian lands, and frankly, we're going to see if we can secure the border, and there is talk of retaliation. But first, securing the borders. Frankly, they have their own mages and competent enough men. Baras is also looking for the help of adventurers in this expedition as well. It's wild land, and, it's also... supply lines will not be so grand down there, you see. And things tend to get a little shaky, and we've come to find that the wild nature of adventurers is actually an asset down there.
That makes sense.
With your ranking, you would be paid very handsomely for this by the kingdom, and you would be, it would not be safe work, frankly. You would be tasked with operations that our own men cannot handle.
I don't think any of us expect safe.
Yes, you're all intelligent enough to know that it's not glory and heroism. It's dirty and nasty a lot of the time. But if you did accompany the force, you would be given minor jurisdiction over men, you understand, if only to set up a safe base and have holdings there. And we would probably, I don't know exactly what would be required of you, because we hand out these assignments as we know who is actually coming, but you'd likely be tasked with scouting or taking out enemy leadership.
Gifton nods.
Yes, I know it does not sound particularly glorious, but I figured I would make the offer nonetheless.
It's not glorious, but it's necessary. But I would
think I've
feel
really
better
been
leaving.
looking for glory.
I would
honestly.
feel better leaving Dolvwood supplied with needed medical supplies before I headed south.
He nods, and you can see him sort of looking down at the papers in his desk, and he sighs and goes,
They're both important to do, though, sir.
They are both important, and while I make you this offer, as I must, on a personal note, I would appreciate anything you can do for my city.
Sir?
Understood.
Can we, if we manage to get supplies quickly, we could always offer to go join up maybe later and catch up to them?
Well, frankly, this offer will be indefinite for as long as this, we're not calling it an invasion yet, but for as long as this campaign lasts, yes.
Cassie.
I was just going to suggest what Gifton suggested. Secure the supply lines to Dolvwood, make sure Dolvwood is in a good position, and then feasibly do the other thing the Capays wanted, and then turn south to meet up with the main force.
Well, certainly. You'd be welcome at any point, Flo. I must say, the longer you delay it, you are less likely to get a comfortable positioning these prime spots of, hey, this adventuring group shall join up early. It'll be in a safe encampment. The later ones will probably be put off in their own. Well, I don't think that would be a problem for you, all right?
No, I think we'd be all right. We got each other.
We got the Virago.
Although I think some people aren't as good with authority.
Yes.
Jeez, Gifton.
Way to call us all out, right? I was talking about Valdir today. Talking about Corvus.
Well, of course, I must stress the importance of my offer and would ask that you give it prime consideration, he says, looking at you all very, very carefully. But I would also understand the importance of helping Dolwood and would be understanding if you decided to take that instead.
Take your offer under advisement, but I believe we'll be focusing on ensuring your town will be sustained.
Very good. Shall I take that as a turning down of my offer for the time being then?
For the short term, I think.
Archie nods.
I do want to go south again, as I do want to make sure this doesn't happen anywhere else. But I won't feel right knowing everything isn't safe here first.
Yes, very good. Well, and he actually gets up from behind his desk and go, and of course, I'd welcome you to all come see me if you decide to go south. But frankly, wherever you are, your accreditations have been sent by Maris to Winden, where they will be passed to the other garrisons. So wherever you go, you shall be given the appropriate ranking of missions if you decide to do this.
Gifton's gonna frown because she remembers that she only has the one that goes one way and she was gonna use it to keep track of Mom. Shit. I was gonna totally leave him with a with the stones. Yeah. We're leaving a sending stone to with the Capes. If you need us while we're out, Capes have a way to reach us.
Yes, thank you, Gifton.
I don't have more of these stones, or I'd give you one.
I do appreciate you coming to see me. Are there any other matters? Looking at Valdir.
Trial. Borel.
His face immediately sours at that. Oh yes, the trial. Yes, I am sorry, Valdir. I know I asked you if you'd come, but well, frankly, I was blocked on that. Aurel was found guilty. He was. He is. The church did not argue much with that. However, they also did not let us have custody of him.
Mm.
He has been taken into their care. They left yesterday during the night.
Well, I hope he doesn't get free.
Well, they better not let the bastard fellow free. Frankly, I don't know why they so badly wanted him themselves, but have him they do.
I mean, they probably don't want anything getting out about the man who claimed that he was touched by God turning out to be not.
So it is an embarrassment that they, well, gave him these credentials. They checked to see if he was divinely touched and confirmed it themselves. And then this.
Is Father Turner doing all right? I mean, with
Yes,
how that
Turner,
went?
Father Turner has been promoted. He is now officially in charge of the church in this city. And well, I hear he's doing a good job of it. You've probably seen some of the refugees is the wrong word. They're from here, but the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
The ones waiting for...
The downtrodden.
Yes.
Well, I can't think of anything else. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you all as well. I've already told you how much you've done for the city. I don't think you need me gushing again.
Yes, much more.
Please, our egos. No.
Yes, stroke them.
Yeah, stroke my ego.
Rub, rub.
No, this. I hope we'll be back by this way very soon, and we can help out.
You're always welcome. And well, perhaps if you come back this way, we can see each other on less official terms.
Yeah, I saw that those bottles of wine that they had were really good.
They very good. Just not for the next day.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yes, getting Maris home was not fun.
Cass is kind of looking around the room, just mutters, lightweights.
Maris has survived, however.
Yes, he survived, although his complaining the next day you would not think so. A drunken mage is a sight to behold, though. He says, and then he actually looks over at Carrick. Speaking of which...
No,
Yes,
not
sir.
a witch. It's a sorcerer.
Oh, look at that! Time to go.
Oh, look at my wrist.
As Marissa told me about the little incident with you. Not that it bothers me at all, but I'm curious. How have you avoided the drafts for so long?
He doesn't show up anywhere when I look at him.
Likes to close the windows and he puts on a sweater.
Cause I can do the.
Sorry,
thing.
I was had a potato chip in my
I can do the. She makes a finger wiggly gesture, and I can see magical auras, but Carrick's just empty.
It's quite bizarre. I will tell you, Carrick, if you obviously you're free to do as you please, but if you ever want to act on a more official capacity for the military, they're probably interested in your abilities. A mage that doesn't show up as a mage is actually a very handy thing.
Yes, I will put it into it. Sorry.
He lit his bed sheets on fire, and then he hit it.
Perhaps with a bit more training.
I let someone else's bed sheet get fired.
and
Truthful.
then he hit it.
I'm
I
sure you
repaired
could
it.
earn. I'm sure you could earn quite a sum for your services.
I will put thought behind that, sir.
He nods and then he sits back down and sort of makes a fake gesture towards the door. Well, I do appreciate your coming to see me, to
You're a
humour
very
me.
busy man, of course.
Well, I'm too busy. You are a thankful reprieve. But I should get back to work.
Point at Corvus, even him.
Do you actually say that?
Corvus is daggers at Carrick.
do you actually say that?
Yep! Oh, God!
Carrick!
Fuck, dude.
You can see the sour look on his face before he just says, "Mine and Mr. Adelas's issues are our own, Mr. Mask."
Wait, there's issues?
At this point,
That's
Cass
the
is
first I've
grabbing
heard of it.
Cass is grabbing Carrick by the collar, grabbing Corvus by the collar, and going, "You have a great day, Mr. Shiref. We need to be going." And she's dragging them both out.
No, the last time this happened, she grabbed him by the ears.
Corvus is being dragged out. His arms are folded against his chest. He's being dragged by his heels, grinding against the stone. Like a statue.
When you say Mr. Shireve and start dragging Corvus out, you just you see him wave his hand vaguely and just go, "Please call me Bill."
Bill?
Cass stops and then,
That's what my friends call me.
Bill!
"Okay, Mr. Bill."
Oh God, no!
She keeps going.
No, not that. Not that.
Oh yeah, actually, okay. I did have him written down as William. So
Yes, the Bill.
no, he is Wide Bill.
He's the Bill.
Yes. I think we might be the only ones who could get that joke.
Alright, Bill, we'll see you. Again,
It
if you
just
ever need
feels
us, just
so
go ahead
weird.
and call. I'm gonna go watch Cassiopeia scold 2 young men on the way back.
Yes, very good.
That
Yeah,
should
close
be
the door on your way out,
hilarious.
please.
Clouthier, close the door on your way out.
Yes.
Yeah. And as Faldir is the last one out, as you go to leave Faldir, he actually looks up and goes, Fortune, one moment, if you please.
Certainly.
And he sort of just motions you to come over to him, and you've got a very competent group. And a very nice group. They all seem friendly and, please don't take this the wrong way, but a little naive.
Naive.
Naive. They've seen a lot the past. Well, they've lost their town and such, but there's still a friendly innocence to them. And if you do go south, you served, yes.
Yes.
You know how much worse it can be.
Yes.
Do you think they will be up to that?
I don't want to find out.
As much as I'd like your assistance down there, frankly, it breaks my heart to think of them not being like this. So I hope perhaps you find, well, more of the adventurer line with the actual adventures themselves.
I think we're going to try and help people however we can.
Yes. Well, do get a handle on Atlas. I think he has a thieving nature that he can't quite help.
Why do you say that?
He took some things from here. We've already talked about it, so don't be too hard on the man, as much as I'd like to see him punished. Perhaps you can figure out your own way to get the handle on it.
Some things?
Some things.
What kind of things?
Frankly, I told him this would be between us entirely, and I'm breaching that agreement by mentioning it to you at all. So I'd like to leave it as that, if you'd please. I'm mostly telling you this so that he doesn't get himself into further trouble.
Oh, I know one way to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, if it's removing the hands, I think that will be an impediment to your work.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for everything. And I hope you have safe journeys. And if not safe, at least worthwhile.
Mhm. Thank you.
And he nods at you, and he just sort of, starts getting back to his paperwork.
Very stiffly close the door.
Mhm.
Clenched fists and definitely not happy walking.
Corvus, there's a shiver down your spine. For no reason.
You feel like you need to run faster.
It's like somebody just walked over your grave.
You kind of hear the Imperial March in the back of your head.
I like to think Cassiopeia is still yelling at the two of them about proper conduct in an office.
Carrick, you are so rude.
But he doesn't like him.
You can't just say these things.
Yes, and everyone likes you, so tick for tat.
Marsha.
Okay. So, anything that happens before we do a little fast forward? Rowdy, do you plan on confrontation, or are you just going to keep this to yourself?
I don't think I'm going to kill him right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold
So,
this.
you all leave the keep, and you're basically able to go back 2 days, unless you want to go and inform Capay of, hey, yeah, we're going to do this.
I'm
We'll
assuming we'll probably
tell
let,
them.
we'll probably let
Yeah.
him know, either by note
Okay.
or something.
Yeah, well, Fowder, you know it's probably, as the leader of the group, appropriate for you to be the one to do so.
Yeah.
So you're able to go over there and let them know that, yes, you will be joining the expedition. To which Myas Capay seems to be very pleased to hear that. And he tells you that, oh, good, we shall be departing within the next couple of days. We'll send word when we're ready to move out, and if you can have yourselves prepared by then.
Yes.
I assume at this point I will have purchased the cow and the chickens and all that shit.
Yeah.
Because it would.
You're
be
like,
silly.
oh, we're gonna go traveling.
All the
chickens.
things. I take care of
Cows.
shopping. Oh,
Yeah.
at last minute shopping, I'm gonna buy some ingots.
Okay, you can get some ingots. Yes.
Allie,
Yes.
is the keep's offer to supply us still on the table?
What with the arms and such?
Yes.
Yes. But again,
Cass is
within the keep's armament.
If they have javelins, Cass is going to pick up a
They
few.
don't. They don't. They have spears, not quite throwing javelins though.
No.
There is actually a bit of a difference.
Hmm.
Kronos, you're muted.
You could probably have had some made in the interim, in all honesty.
Yeah, Cass is going to
That
go.
difficult.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's something you'd have to buy yourself.
Yep. Cass will go hunting down an armorer.
Would it be about a gold for a steel or something like that? Or...
Should be listed, shouldn't it?
Actually, it doesn't say steel. It has copper. It has iron. So I think normally you work iron into steel. So
Yes.
It'd be a little pricier. What is iron's price?
iron's price is a silver. That's what I was gonna say. It
A
might
silver?
Be gold.
Call it. Call it 5 silver.
Call it 5 silvers. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will deduct that to buy. I'll buy 2 of them because that should be plenty enough for Baldur to work something out, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kess, you are able to go and basically get what kind of javelins are you trying to go for? You just looking for wooden hafts and a tip, or
Yeah.
yeah, you can easily get those commissioned. Standard book price unless you want to negotiate from.
No, she's just these things are breakable, so she's not.
Or rather, standard weapon document price. But you know.
Yeah.
I'm also buying a copper ingot as well, so that way he has something to work with once we get him set up.
Okay. Okay. You do find that you're able to get them, but you do have to actually search a bit. So because there's a lot of metal being used up in the city right now as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not as quite in demand as lumber and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Right.
also why she's not trying to negotiate, because she knows she's taking supplies.
All right. So you make these arrangements, and a couple of days do pass. Soon enough, one of the mornings, I figure you guys do prepare yourselves to leave a little ahead of time just to be ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do get word that the Capay's little Capay and Terraces. It's a joint venture. Little expedition is ready to leave. They are mustering. Where is it? They are mustering outside the eastern gate.
Okay.
And you are able to get yourselves together and go join them. It's a sizable. Oh, yep.
I was gonna say before we go, Margie would have
Maritza.
an actual sit down and talk with them. Like, I'm shit at this. Like, her basic words are like, I'm shit at this. I haven't really done anything. Being the actual person who people care for is new to me.
Aw.
I don't know. Like, she basically words as, I don't know if I'm an emotional person enough ready for, like, to propose yet, but, like, I want to... Like, she doesn't want to basically give Marissa.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to ask her to come along because she's pretty sure that'd be a death sentence.
Mhm.
So when you sit
So-
down and start trying to get this out, she sits down beside you, and she'll actually sort of reach out and take your hands and go, "Sweetie, if you come back, I will be here."
RJ's also reaching her pocket and taking the 5 plat she has and giving it to her, going, "This is for you. To help.
You don't need to. I'm
I don't-
okay.
I don't need it. I've got everything I can want."
She'll pull you into a tight hug. And if you don't come back, or you find someone else, or anything like that, well, I've loved the time we've had. Okay.
I think the only way I wouldn't come back at this point is if I was dead.
I'll try to avoid that.
I mean, I'm hoping, but
And she'll squeeze you and give you a little kiss.
yeah, she is absolutely giving the 5 plat she had to her.
Okay. Yeah, she seems reluctant, but she doesn't argue too much about it.
Yeah, RG's not
That is
taking
fine.
no for an answer on it.
There might be a little argument, but eventually you will win it.
Mhm.
And when it actually does come for you to leave, she will also see you off at the gates. And yeah, there is a small force there. You can see what seems to be about 15 or so guard, a mix of Capet and terrace guards, and roughly 30 or so workers. They've got a few wagons, a few little caravans, mostly tools because they're actually going out for the materials. But yeah, it's a sizable little group.
And then here comes this horribly ostentatious Virago.
Mhm.
And
Fardo, yeah.
Yep. The Fardo with its stained fucking glass window rolls up to join it, and you.
I need to get hydraulics on the thing.
You can see heading up the group. It's a guard you've seen posted at the gates of Capet a lot. Somewhat older than most of the other guards, but he's not quite that grizzled veteran you've met before. But he gives you a welcoming wave, and you folks ready to head off?
Think so.
All right. Well, just follow up at the rear. We shouldn't have many issues for a while. Oh God, please. Throat. We shouldn't have any issues until we get deeper into wilderness. But all right. Everyone got everything? He actually sort of yells at the crowd, and there's a few murmurs as if like, yeah, we've been fucking prepared for a while now. All right, then off we go. And the little group starts to move out with you guys following along.
In post, I totally had a big tearful farewell with my mom and Edward, and expected.
And of course, Edward will reassure you that your mother will be okay here.
Don't leave her on high tables.
Yeah. And your mother also tells you that she thinks she'll be okay here. She actually kind of likes it here.
Okay.
And we will end there with you guys moving out.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
makes
good
sense.
spot. Yeah.
So was I the only one that forgot to send you the homework before the game started?
I got a lot of things today, but yes, I think yours was the only one I got during the game.
I actually deleted it and resent it because I typed the wrong Leaf Island, the wrong city.
Oh.
Because I thought it was Leaf Barrow that the guy came from, but it's Leaf Wick.
Everyone
I
gets
fixed it.
150 XP.
Yay.
6,850.
Alright, and I will turn off the recording.
Well, we got 150. I put as
6950.
6,950.